Alrighty then. Welcome to episode 24 of the podcast. I'm Otto, joined by Spoon. Spoon, hello.
Hey, hey.
And we've got quite a bit of news today. I looked at the doc and realized, wow, we've got quite a bit that happened this week, which is usually a good thing. So we'll get to discuss various different topics, including Toys for Bob, some Stadia issues. We'll also talk about the PlayStation Discord stuff, which I'm actually more excited about than I initially was when the news first broke on that. I'm a little bit more excited now after thinking about it, and there's more to talk about for today in particular. So let's get through an intro first, Spoon, and then that intro is going to involve various different things, I imagine. But I would like to start with the YouTube, if you don't mind, and then we can go on to the other stuff that I'm sure you'll want to mention. So give me 1 second while I actually get this up. Okay, so for the YouTube, we've been posting more videos recently. I'm hoping to post at least one or two StarCraft videos. I'm gonna do it tonight when I have like an hour to sit down and do it. And I know Spoon, you're still posting your Tales of Berseria stuff. So for those of you that are listening in here, be sure to check our videos out, like and subscribe to them. We really appreciate that stuff. Some effort goes into it, so we always like to see that that like appreciation for all the stuff that we're doing. So all the StarCraft co-op campaign particular playthroughs that happened this week and last week are going up. I'm still behind on one mission, I think. So I'll have to do some catch up as much as I can. And Spoon, I know you've been posting your Tales of Berseria playthroughs that you've been doing on the podcast channel as well. So be sure to... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
The only one for Berseria that's not up is the one that I streamed Monday.
Sure.
It'll probably go up probably Friday.
Okay.
And also, just as a quick update on that stream, I may stream Friday again for Berseria, but then may or may not stream Friday, not sure. Definitely won't be streaming Monday. Since I have an exam next week on Thursday, so so short hiatus for the Berseria stream while I prep for my upcoming exam next week, but it'll probably resume next Friday. After that.
Okay.
So
and for me in particular, like no streams planned for the rest of the week. I'm going to Lake Tahoe tomorrow, so I will be spending 2 nights there and getting back Saturday evening. I have no plans to stream on the channel. Next stream will probably just be another StarCraft stream next Tuesday. So that's the plan for me. And for you, like you said, you got some exam prep to do, so taking a little break from Berseria. So probably won't see a lot from the channel this particular weekend, but next week I'll still be playing StarCraft. We'll have a podcast, which we'll give some updates on in the Discord server regarding what's going on with that particular episode due to Spoon's exam and things like that, making sure that he can study. So we'll see kind of how things work out for that particular episode and what that episode's going to entail. At some point, we'll get those in Discord. The other updates that should be shared for the community in general, we just shared the stream, so I feel like that's a good update there. But for the podcast Dungeons and Dragons campaign that is DM'd by me, I actually got to work on it this morning. I got to work on it for like an hour and a half or so. So things are moving. I personally can't say when we're going to start specifically. I'm hoping that if I can sit down more, and I don't think I'll do any work while I'm in Tahoe. So if I can sit down and do some stuff Sunday, when I have like a little bit of time, or early next week, like Monday, because I still don't have classes, then I'm hoping actually I can get enough of the groundwork laid out where we can start possibly the week after that. So like the week of the 17th.
Yeah,
That
so
would
like in 2 weeks.
That would be my hope. That would be like thinking really optimistically. I don't want to commit to that though. There might be something that'll come up on my end, like randomly, that I have to deal with. Who knows? But I'm hoping the 17th is the week we start. We'll be figuring out the scheduling for the actual sessions, and also we're gonna actually, I'll get an answer from everybody on whether we can stream this. I want to make sure that if somebody doesn't want to, I don't want to do it if somebody doesn't want to, right? So that's an update for D&D for those that were curious about that, particularly those who are actually involved in the particular campaign that I'm running. So that's the D&D update. And I don't so no movie update because I'm gone this weekend. No movie. I mentioned it before, no movie. But I'm hoping that the following weekend, so the 15th weekend of the 15th, we can do a movie. So I'm gonna hopefully have some time to put that together as well. We'll watch Infinity War leading up to Endgame. Okay, that's movie updates. And then finally, Spoon, do you want to give an update on
The world
ends with you? Yeah, anime. I was gonna say just anime night.
Yeah,
but
I mean, we're continuing to do it. We're through episode 4. Episode 5 comes out on Friday, and again, assuming everyone's okay with it. I know Sunday is Mother's Day, but we will try to do it on Sunday as we have been up to this point. That seems to have worked for everybody up to this point. Yeah, I mean, we'll continue to watch it until somebody. I mean, yeah, I don't know how much people are liking it so far.
we should talk about it today. Actually, let's talk
Yeah,
about it.
we can talk about
We
it
should talk
a
about
little
it.
bit.
We should talk about it.
So yeah, I have some issues with it. I don't think it's amazing, like, just to be honest. But
I think it's a solid show. I think it's solid.
Yeah.
I think it's solid. I think it does some certain things well, and I think there's other things that I think it does extremely poorly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is like, I could see the problems, but I also see there's some good parts, but the problems for me are like hard for me to avoid thinking about. So we can talk about it for sure.
I agree. All right, so we'll get into that later, but yeah, we'll continue to watch that, and again, assuming people are up for it, once the next season comes around, we will decide on what we're gonna watch next season, and that'll
Sure.
be a couple months. That'll be a couple months down the line because there's still like 8 more episodes of this. But yeah, we'll, instead of me just unilaterally picking one, we'll maybe get a swath of things to choose from and vote on one, or maybe if people are up for watching more than one, we'll watch a couple. So yeah, we'll leave that up to the group when we get there.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
That's that.
I have a question for you before we get into news. And
Sure.
what do you know what Demon Slayer is?
Do I know what Demon Slayer is?
Yes.
Yeah.
The show.
Yes, I do vaguely know what Demon Slayer is. I haven't watched it, but it's like I think it's a shonen.
Oh, it's a shonen. Okay, it's a shonen
anime. It was pretty popular from, I want to say, a couple years ago. Yeah, I mean, I've heard the action's good, the characters are good. I've heard the new movie is really good as well.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Okay.
I haven't watched it, so I can't comment other than that.
Okay, I don't know. I just like Bree was mentioning it to me, and I was like, I don't know what the hell that is. I don't know what the frick that is. What is that? So I wasn't sure if you knew or not. So anyway.
Have I been mispronouncing her name all this time? Is it actually Bree?
I think it is Bree. We've just been saying Brea.
She just never corrects.
She's too nice to correct us. I'm pretty sure it's Bree. Everybody else, like who she plays with for Fortnite, calls her Bree.
Okay.
So I think we've been mispronouncing it, but she's too nice to say otherwise.
Too nice to correct us.
Correct. Yeah, it's one of those too nice to correct.
Since we're dumb.
Since we're horrible people. So let's see here. Yeah, let's get into news. I have another anime vote that I think we should watch, but I'll save it for later.
Okay.
I don't know if people will. I don't know how people will like the Castlevania anime from Netflix. The anime did show on Netflix. It's quite good, but I'm not sure how people will like it. But anyway, okay. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna start with Toys for Bob. Okay.
Okay.
So this is a tweet from Toys for Bob that had a reply from this Crash Bandicoot Clubhouse account. It's actually like a decent sized Twitter account, and it's a community page for Crash Bandicoot franchise games. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, by the way, just so we can see better. So Toys for Bob had a tweet that says, "We're proud to support development for Season 3 of Call of Duty Warzone and look forward to more to come. Let's go, dev squads." I don't know what the hell that is. And then basically this like account was like, "Oh, no. Toys for Bob, they're not stopping their own independent development work. They're just doing quick Call of Duty development help. They're going to go back to normal stuff." And then was corrected because the Spyro Reignited Trilogy and Crash 4 character designer confirmed that he and everyone who works at Toys for Bob have been let go, or they moved to the Call of Duty team. So I've only heard good things about... I've heard good things from Spyro Reignited Trilogy. I've heard good things. And we know how the Crash Bandicoot series has been recently, and just like generally speaking, but the recent Crash Bandicoot games have really been solid games, right? They've been good games. And so, yeah, Activision just swooped in and said, "Okay, you're done." Because Crash Bandicoot makes less money than Call of Duty.
Yeah, I mean,
which is crazy too, because like Crash Bandicoot, the series actually makes good. I imagine makes good money.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't make Call of Duty money. Nothing makes Call of Duty money except maybe Pokemon.
Well, but... so Fortnite and Call of Duty, Pokemon, of course, and maybe one other. Maybe like I don't like League of Legends doesn't make Fortnite money, right? But League of Legends makes a ton. Makes a couple billion. Genshin Impact's gonna make crazy League of Legends money.
Billion, yeah, a couple billion.
They're gonna make a couple billion. But like Call of Duty and Fortnite and all them they make monopoly money basically.
I mean, yeah, I was seeing I saw this last week, and then there was some... I couldn't find the story, so I didn't post it in news, and it seemed a little redundant, but I did see something at one point, I think a couple of days ago, that basically Activision is like, "Yep, we're just going to turn all of our games into Call of Duty, or make them like Call of Duty, and they're just going to be Call of Duty, the company," basically. They're like, "Yeah, that's what makes money, so everything is going to be Call of Duty, and Absolutely. If you're not doing Call of Duty, you're doing it wrong," and yeah, just... Okay, cool, Activision.
Yeah, I mean...
thank you, I'll never buy another one of your games again. Thank you very much, see you later.
Like it's crazy, too. Except for, we'll say, like, we'll kind of, like, say the Blizzard group is slightly separate in that they're Blizzard's still allowed to make Diablo, and there's...
like, have D4, and Hearthstone still exists.
Yeah, because Hearthstone makes crazy money, too. Crazy money. I have a comment about Overwatch that I think will be relevant to some of this stuff as we talk about more Activision. But Overwatch hasn't had a serious content update in over a year, and their viewership on Twitch is like, I feel like it's tanking hard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check it right now, but there was a point where it was under 10K, which is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, that's abysmal for as much money as they...
Overwatch is at 10K viewers on Twitch, which is abysmal. It's probably impossible to see on the screen, but it is at 10K viewers on Twitch, which that's absolutely insane. It's less than League of Legends Wild Rift mobile game. It's less than... I'm trying to find some other ones that it just shouldn't be less than. It's less than Genshin Impact, though Genshin's usually like pretty decently high. It's less than Dead by Daylight, which I mean, gosh, I guess that game is still quite popular. It's less than Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, which I imagine isn't common. Rainbow Six
Yeah,
Siege,
but
less than Rainbow Six Siege, less than Path of Exile. It's like Overwatch used to be up here at the very tippity top. And
yep,
the games that have stayed at the very tippity top over the last like 5 years, I want to say, are Fortnite, League of Legends, and I'm not going to count Warzone because Warzone's a relatively recent development. So it's really just these two. I mean, even like Dota, Counter Strike's dropped a little bit, but it's still up
down a
here.
little.
Dota's dropped a decent amount. Valorant consistently gets really high viewership, by the way.
Which I don't get. Valorant. I don't get Valorant.
I mean, there's a lot of there. I imagine there's a decent sized player base. It's like, hey, look, it's a slightly different iteration of Counter-Strike, and it's got a little bit of that like Overwatch styling to it. I want to say a little bit, not much, but a little bit.
Guess.
And paid by Tencent. Yeah, sure, that could totally be it too. Tencent's like, hey,
get Valorant in there.
Well, to be fair to like that, like when Riot tried to branch out different games, I'm just gonna say it. Runeterra failed. I'm just gonna say it. Runeterra failed. I know it's still got like a player base, and it still has a pretty like decent niche, I want to say, but it's at like 7K viewers. Like this was supposed to be their big card game. I'm just gonna say it. I think it failed.
I mean, nothing has been able to break into the card game. There's been a lot of companies that have tried, and I guess some had some success, but Hearthstone was the big one. Hearthstone never went away. I think what was popular for Magic was popular.
Magic the Gathering it was the de facto card game.
That's because it's Magic.
Right.
People played Magic, physical cards for a long time. And
the only other game I know of that got pretty popular was Shadowverse.
Shadowverse for a bit, yeah.
It was kind of, but oh god, God.
Yeah, it's dead now.
It's just like freaking dead now on Twitch. But it had Shadowverse had a following.
I mean, Elder Scrolls Legends had a small following, a following as well.
It still has this weirdly small following that I'm like a little bit confused by, but it exists. So back to the original point. We just circled like crazy, but my only point was Overwatch. I don't know what they're doing with Overwatch. Was my only point.
Nothing. They're doing nothing with it. It's just sitting there.
They just let it sit there, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Don't let Overwatch sit there. Like they're actually just killing their game on purpose. I feel like
by doing nothing.
So
yeah, I don't know.
I can see why Bobby Kotick and his swimming pool of cash would want all of his development studios going into Call of Duty. Like, why not? It's somebody sat at their computer, made a spreadsheet, checked, and made a very simple graph that Tricourage, I imagine, would sign off on, and said, hey, look, this is how Crash Bandicoot does when we make it, and there's a decent sized line going up.
It's profit. It's
there's
decent,
some profit, I'm sure. Here's a development cost. Here's a little bit of profit. Then there's Call of Duty, and it's this crazy freaking thing that just shoots all the way up. And they're like, well, one of these is bigger than the other, so the other one's going to go away, and we're just going to focus on that one. It makes sense. I'm not going to knock Warzone or anything like that. People receive Warzone quite well. I can imagine a universe where if you don't like Fortnite building, or if you're just maybe not interested in something like Apex, but you like Battle Royales, Warzone might be a good one for you. Really, I can see it. I know Warzone is popular. I know people who really like it. So I'm not going to knock Warzone, but I will say I'm not surprised but disappointed that a game like Crash 4, which I imagine was successful, just we'll never see anymore because Bobby Kotick, wanted to buy a place in the Bahamas, and unfortunately Crash 4 didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
So Bobby said, hey, look, Call of Duty's going to pay for my Bahamas home.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what happens. It's tragic. Really tragic. Bobby Kotick is like an actor, the movie actor, where sometimes you're confused that a movie actor takes a certain role. My favorite is there was a Dungeons and Dragons movie, and right before Lord of the Rings came out, and Jeremy Irons right? He did the movie, and he literally was quoted as saying, "Yeah, I bought it a house, and I only did this movie so I could pay it off." Like, it's that kind of thing where Bobby's like, "Hey, look, Crash 4 didn't pay off my house, so
It's gone.
it's gone. It didn't pay my house, so it's gone." It's that kind of thinking.
And yeah, that's the problem with like what's Ghost saying in chat. Like Bobby Kotick, the numbers people and the investors, they expect exponential growth every year, and the only thing that's giving them that is Call of Duty.
Call of Duty gives,
And I mean, I don't know
growth.
if exponential growth is even the right word there, but they're making boatloads of money on Call of Duty between the mainline Call of Duty, they have Warzone, and they have Call of Duty Mobile, which
makes a ton too. Makes a ton
yeah,
too.
I mean, that one probably makes the most, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
mobile.
from the cost to actual the actual profit margin, I'm sure is amazing for the mobile one. It's I again, I wouldn't be shocked if Call of Duty just stopped making the multiplayer mainline games. They're just like, yeah, we're not making these anymore. Let's just
campaign. What's that?
Just
we
stop.
Don't need that.
Just stop it.
We have to put effort into like
I know
story
people,
and voice acting, and yeah.
I know people complain about it, but at this point, it's just like they're not going to do it. They're not going to put any effort into it. It's not worth money. Yeah, the campaign doesn't pay Bobby Kotick's condo in, on an island in Honduras. It doesn't pay for the condo there.
Pay for his 14th house.
It doesn't pay for it.
Yeah.
It doesn't pay for it. So, like, again, I do think Warzone is a well-made battle royale, but at the same time, that doesn't make it right. Like, you destroy all the hard work that these... Well, I won't say destroy, but you just, like... You say, okay, it was good job, but not good enough. Goodbye. Man, that sucks. Like, because these games, I feel like, were good games, and most people would be like, yeah, success, good job.
They were good games 10 years ago.
But 10 years ago, Bobby would have been satisfied with it, because 10 years ago was a different time. That's just the unfortunate thing. Right now, games like Fortnite and Warzone, things like that, Genshin as well, you don't have to put tons of effort into it. All you have to do, like with Fortnite, is you put a little bit of content here and there out, you maintain what you got, and that's it. You don't have to make a new game. You don't have to spend any time making a new game. You just support what's already there.
Yep.
Like Naruto, adding Naruto to Fortnite. That's the thing. So relevant here. This article about Activision CEO Bobby Kotick takes a 50% pay cut. Yeah, it's a cute thing. It's cute.
This was a clickbait headline.
It's clickbait headline. Sure. They at least admitted like it's not as big of because it sounds, but this is not. Bobby Kotick does not make the most money off his salary. Bobby Kotick does not make his money off his salary. Bobby Kotick makes his money off that thing called equity that he gets from Activision. That's where Bobby Kotick gets a lot of his money. Yeah, he gets like bonuses too. He gets insane bonuses too.
Basically the gist of this was they reduced his salary, I think, but basically he's still making the same because his bonuses and his equity are just through the freaking roof, and it doesn't matter. Basically, this was a clickbait headline. Like I read through this article, I was like, oh, okay. I feel like this was, I don't know what they were going for with this. They were like, I don't know if it was an Activision thing or if it was just like an IGN clickbait thing, or Activision trying to make us think that like, hey, we're paying our CEO less, you should like us more, and it's like, no.
A person without the knowledge of how most executives make their money would buy this. They'd be like, oh, look, he took a 50% pay cut. Yay! And you kind of have to go into that person and say, hey, okay, look, like, yes, maybe his salary went from like 3 million to 1.5 million. It looks like salary reduced, bringing it from 1.75 million to a mere 875,000. I get it's like joking, but don't put that there. Don't put that there. But the thing is, look at this, for 200% of his base salary and bonus per year, which is stupid. It's insane. But also the equity. Like most of the like compensation, this 30 million, they even noted it's like most of which stemmed from equity grants rather than his actual set salary. Of course, equity grants are going to encompass a lot of that person's take for the year. Like it doesn't matter. Like this person could make $1 from Activision a year. He would still make a crap load of money due to the equity grants. It doesn't matter. He could literally take no salary and it wouldn't matter.
He could have zero salary and it would make no difference whatsoever.
It would make very little difference. Very insignificant difference because all the equity grants would be that amount. So it's just like it's really dumb. I don't actually even know what Bobby Kotick does at Activision, by the way. It's interesting to like. It would be interesting to know like what he actually does on a day-to-day. Do you think he just sits in his chair
and counts his money? Yeah, that's
counts the money and then checks which condo he should buy next? I just like
then,
I don't know what he does.
And then looks at that graph from Call of Duty, and then
I don't know. I can know. I would implicitly know what the CFO is doing, the chief financial officer. I would know. I would know what they're doing. They're in charge of the entire company's budgeting, I would imagine, which trickles down to everybody else, figuring out where all that money is going or what to do with it. Probably also working with people to figure out should they acquire maybe some studios, things like that. Like I could see what a CFO is doing, or like I could see what the operations person is doing. I feel like the chief operations person at Activision actually does Bobby Kotick's job. And Bobby Kotick's job is to sit at just to talk about the game that they make, which is Call of Duty, and probably go to a couple events, say a couple of quotable lines to articles,
and to be the face that we all hate,
and to be the face. I don't know what he actually does though. Beyond that, I really don't. I would be interested to for somebody who's in the company to go, this is exactly what Bobby Kotick does.
Yeah. Talk to his secretary and see what his daily schedule is like.
He's like, who am I calling today? It's like, I don't know what he does. I really don't. It'd be interesting to hear what he actually does. Which we'll never get, of course, because I'm sure it will be like a blank piece of paper, and we'd be like, "What is this? Like, this is what he does." Okay. Any other stuff you want to mention? I don't want to say anymore. Bobby Kotick has the dream right now. He's got the dream job.
Yep, he does. I'm jealous.
Everybody here should be jealous of Bobby Kotick. That is a true statement. That being said, everybody also knows he's a turd. So that's, you just like, but a guy like him, like, hell, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care if everybody thought I was a turd. I'd be like, well, I mean, I spend my day at work checking out which condo I should buy next. So that's kind of nice.
And cutting Crash Bandicoot off our payroll because it doesn't make enough money.
And firing people on record profit years.
Yeah. Yep.
And being like, wow, we made record profits. Time to fire some folks.
Time to fire another 1,000 employees. Sounds good, dude.
Bobby, we did well. We don't have to fire them. No, I think we do.
Bobby, we made money. Maybe we should hire more people and maybe make more games.
No.
Fire some people and everyone else we have, just put them on Call of Duty because that's the only thing that makes.
We should make another Call of Duty. No, let's just keep doing the same Call of Duty. I would feel like such a piece of shit. If we would just find a conscience. Nope. When you see Monopoly money in front of you, for most people, I'm not gonna say everyone. Some people are not going to be this way, but most people would see Monopoly money and go absolutely, like, they would just lose they would forsake themselves for Monopoly money. But if you're that type of person, I mean, if you're the type of person that's like, hey, look, like, yeah, I'm a turd sandwich, but I also make Monopoly money, so I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I feel like all these people who are, these super high ranking executives, like, almost have to be complete pieces of shit, because I feel like you gotta be a real asshole and then step on a lot of toes and push a lot of people off cliffs to get to one of those positions.
Oh, you're kissing a lot of ass for sure. You're kissing certain people's asses. You're shaking the right hands. You're buying people the right drinks, and you realize that the board ends up saying, you know what, you've kissed our ass enough. Here, be the CEO. and we'll pay you ridiculous amounts of money to do
Nothing.
almost nothing except be the face of the company and say some stuff in articles. That sounds good. Like
that we wrote for you because PR statements.
Yeah, like it's not like the CEO comes up with, like, for example, the FIFA card pack model. The CEO didn't come up with that shit. You know, it was some pencil pusher guy who came up with the idea, mentioned it to people, and they kept bringing it up to the executives. Like, this is actually a really good idea. You could make billions off of this, and that's what. And then they took, the other people took the credit for it. I'm sure it was some pencil pusher who was like really into card packs and collecting sports cards that actually came up with that idea. And it wasn't it wasn't an executive that came up with that idea. I can just like guarantee that they're not putting enough thought power to do that. So anyway,
yep, let's move on.
Yeah, I want to talk about Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Can I talk about this for a little bit, please? There are changes that I want you to hear. They made some changes I need you to hear.
Other than Miranda's ass?
Other than Miranda's ass. Which may be a change we shouldn't discuss, because last time some people didn't like that. So, Mass Effect 1 might be, I don't want to say a different experience, but here are some things that they apparently changed in Mass Effect 1. I thought it was just like maybe an FPS boost, as well as some general quality of life updates with the textures and things like that. It's not. They're updating guns, sniper rifles in particular. All classes can use sniper rifles now, as opposed to before where I think it was limited. Abilities got updated, and they shared a few abilities, like some of the abilities that involved increasing your defensive capabilities, or gave you a shield barrier, actually give you a defensive buff now. They added some changes to effects. I'm genuinely speaking, I'm shocked that they did that. We all knew it was Ass Effect. We all know what it really is. And what else did they change? Oh, the Mako tank got a change. Mako tank has changed. The stability of the Mako tank and how it drives is improved. They showed a side to side. I watched it on a video. I wish I had it here. I watched it. The Mako tank in Mass Effect 1 actually felt a little like Flubber in that movie Flubber.
Yep.
It was all over the place. It looked more stable in this edition. It looks way more stable, and they gave it boosters. They gave the Mako tank boosters so you can go faster. They did that stuff. And also they changed how EXP works. The Mako tank now, if you kill things in the Mako, it doesn't change the EXP at all. You get the same EXP if you're in or out of the Mako tank. They just were like, screw it, we don't care. Kill things in the Mako if you want.
I'm gonna say, it sounds like you could farm EXP in the Mako tank really easily.
But you got a reduction of EXP, is what happened. So they just changed it. They're like, fuck it. You get the same EXP as if you were on foot. Because what people would do is they would weaken something with a Mako and then one-shot it with their gun and get the EXP.
Oh, okay.
So they just changed it because like, okay, we're whatever. Boss fights changed. What's her name? Baron Zaya? Is that her name? I don't remember her name. On the Ice World, on BioWare's famous Ice World, they changed it because the arena, as you might recall, was terrible. I described it as it's a square.
It's just a square.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's just a square.
They changed it. They're like, we're changing this arena. They said they're changing the arena because they didn't like the fight and people didn't appreciate it.
Yeah, that fight was bad.
Yeah, it sucked. So they said they're changing not only that one, but maybe a few others. I didn't get a good idea of which ones. So there were a couple others too, besides just an FPS boost and it being optimized for next-gen consoles as well. This Mass Effect 1 might be I don't want to say an entirely different experience, but Mass Effect 1, if all this stuff that I'm seeing about it works out the correct way, it might be the best one. In this edition, it might be the best one.
I mean,
because they changed the gunplay in this. They changed cover mechanics too. They changed it. They're like, we're fixing the cover and we're fixing how the actual combat works with gunplay.
I'm not sure letting all the classes use all the guns is a good idea, but we'll see.
Well, I don't know. They just were talking about it. I was like, okay, so everybody just is
It's like,
allowed
are
to
the
use
class?
Sniper?
I don't know. Are the classes even going to be distinct anymore, or they're just like all kind of the same thing, and it doesn't freaking matter
Well, you
which one
get
you
different abilities. So, I mean, like if you're like doing the one that charges or the Vanguard that's like close range combat, you probably don't want to put the sniper on because I'm fairly certain they're still keeping a certain amount of weight means your cooldowns are going to be less.
Okay.
So, or yeah, if you have less weight, cooldown reduction is higher. Um, this game might be the most this Mass Effect 1 might be what we're hoping for. This might be
What Mass Effect 1 should have been.
what Mass Effect 1 should have been, but wasn't, which is a good RPG game with actual combat mechanics.
Yeah, Mass Effect 1 was good, but it was rough around the edges. The combat was a little clunky.
Mm-hmm.
The Mako tank was really clunky,
Yeah, it
and
was.
um,
Some of the boss fights were
I mean,
not.
yeah, some of the boss fights were not very good, but it had the best story of the three, in my opinion, and it had the most fleshed out RPG mechanics. They really dumbed down the RPG mechanics in the later game in
Yes, they did.
two and three.
Yeah, they did.
So we'll see if they keep those or if they're going to dumb them down to Mass Effect 2 levels, which would be disappointing in my opinion. But
Yeah.
um,
I don't think they. I don't think they did. I hope they didn't. I hope they didn't change that. But all this game, they actually put development work into it, which I was shocked at.
as opposed to just porting it and
Yeah,
saying
that's what I expected, actually.
like up-resing and like increasing the FPS and being like, all right, put it in there, it's done.
That's 100% what I expected. That's 100% what I expected. So the fact that it's not that is shocking to me.
Yeah, no, me too. That's surprising.
Um, I after watching that video, I'm actually gonna pre-order this game. I'm like, okay, this series, I'm getting this. If this means Mass Effect 1 actually becomes the game we want it to be, then I'm definitely gonna try this out. And the text, the graphics quality and load times for like the elevator load screen, they did like a side by side.
No more 6-minute elevator
Holy
ride.
shit! It's like actually 45 seconds of difference. I was like, okay, holy crap. So I'm very personally very interested. I wanted to talk about this. Obviously, I really will be pre-ordering this and playing it when it comes out. And this is going to be, I think, really fun. I'm very excited for playing Mass Effect 1 as I would hope, as I'd hoped it should be. Not that Mass Effect 1 wasn't enjoyable to play. But coming out May 14th, which happens to be Friday next week. So, yeah, if you're interested in it, it's a fun series. If you've never played it, this is the great package to get. You get all the DLC and such, and the DLC for this series is pretty damn good. Definitely a good value to get all 3 games plus all the DLC and content that comes with it. So, okay. Let's see here. Okay. PlayStation Discord. So, as a result of the Microsoft talks with Discord decided they didn't want to be acquired and instead took a Series H round of funding, which, by the way, if you don't know how many funding rounds has been, well, typically funding rounds go this way. Seed, and then they go A, B, C, D, and they keep going. So you do the math on that one. That's a lot of funding rounds, just to be clear. So this partnership has come about because PlayStation invested in the Series H round and took a minority stake in the company. So as a result, we're getting this partnership. Thought I would clear that up because that's what I read in this. Made a minority investment as part of Discord's Series H round. So instead of being acquired, they decided to get more funding. My opinion of this actually has improved over the last few days. At first I was like, I literally don't care. But I thought about it more after my Fortnite experience, because when I am streaming Fortnite and I want to be in voice chat with somebody else in Fortnite in particular, if I'm cross-playing with them, I can't actually have the stream pick up their audio. If that makes sense, like to anybody, like you could hear me, but the party, everybody else in that party, you couldn't hear them. So after thinking about it and thinking, okay, how does this solve that problem? Like, this comes in, and if you're cross-playing with people, maybe somebody's on their PC. Like me, I'm on my PC even when playing, on console. My party member in Fortnite, who I'm cross-playing with, can hop on Discord on their system if they don't have a computer near them, and then I can be on my PC in Discord, and we can have that communication, and that will be heard on stream. So that is where I figured out the benefit.
But it's only for PlayStation, so if you're on Xbox or...
Yes, if you're on Xbox, you're shit out of luck.
Yep.
But for me, it's okay, because I have the computer computers right here, so I just hop on PC Discord. If you're only on Xbox and don't have a computer near you that you can link up to Discord, yeah, kiss Discord's ass. Like, that's it. I'm a little bit confused as to, like, first of all, Xbox will now never get Discord on it. Can't see it. PlayStation will never allow that. They'll baby rage and cry on a table before allowing that. Which is, it's disappointing. I don't understand why, like, Microsoft couldn't get Discord onto Xbox, but now I definitely can't see a universe where that happens, which is unfortunate. But I think ultimately this is great for folks on PlayStation who want to do crossplay and don't have the ability to hop on PC Discord. There are definitely people like that. That's good. That's the benefit I see. So I think this is great for that, especially if you're cross-playing with those folks on PlayStation.
Yeah, I think this has pretty much only positive implications, again, for basically that very reason. The only negative implication is, if you're on Xbox, you're kind of shit out of luck with this one.
Oh yeah, you're never getting it. You're never getting it.
Or Nintendo, but there's not a lot of like crossplay with Nintendo. You kind of just do your own thing with Nintendo games on Nintendo consoles, so that's not a big worry.
That's not a big deal.
If you're on Xbox, you're just kind of screwed. But if you're on PlayStation, and you still have to pay for PS Plus to play online, which Microsoft is getting rid of. By the way, you don't have to pay for gold anymore to play online.
To play free games online, right? Specifically free games, or was that more than that?
Well,
or just like accessing online features from your game does not require Xbox Live Gold.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, obviously, if it's a game you have to pay for, you have to buy the game first, and then
of course.
Totally fine. I'm pretty sure playing like online multiplayer doesn't require a subscription. To Xbox Live anymore.
By the way, Trackers just said Fortnite and Warzone on PlayStation without PlayStation Gold was a thing he did.
All right.
I guess I don't know. Then I guess PlayStation Gold at this point is just like
PS Plus. You get cloud saves. You get their free monthly games.
Yeah, you get the free game.
I'm pretty sure for some games at least it's required to play online. Maybe not all of them. Maybe stuff like Fortnite and Warzone is just like too popular. So
and it's free, so it's just like
maybe Activision and Epic kind of strong arm them on than that one. They're like, nah, you can't do that. Shit.
Yeah,
like
you shouldn't be allowed that.
I'm not sure.
Might have been what
but
happened.
I'm pretty sure at least some games on PlayStation you require PS Plus to play online. Maybe they changed that and I'm wrong, but I thought that was still the case. I don't play online on PlayStation very often.
I feel like sports games would still force that. Actually,
probably.
I feel like sports games would still do that. But in any case, at first I didn't care, but I see benefits now after yesterday's experience playing Fortnite. I see the benefits now. So I think this is a good thing for PlayStation folks. And for Xbox folks like myself, well, we just got basically what happened was Sony's CEO walked into my room, and I said, "Hey, can we get that on Xbox? It'd be nice." And then he just flipped me off, and then he farted in my room.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah,
farted
and then
in
he
my
like
room.
just
He
like
walked out.
he just peed on your table.
Yeah, he just did all that, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. It's just what it is. But again, I think it is good. It's good.
Yeah. Again, mostly positives from this. The only negative being that Microsoft just got screwed on this one. We went from, a couple weeks ago talking about like, oh man, is Microsoft going to acquire Discord to man, Microsoft just got fucked. Like,
Yeah, they got really screwed here. It's super unfortunate that they got screwed here. It's funny because Discord and Microsoft, like with Xbox, they partner for the Ultimate Game Pass. First time Ultimate Game Pass folks get Discord Nitro, so there was a partnership there. That's going to go away, by the way, too, because Sony's CEO walked into Discord's office and said, "Hey, remember that Microsoft partnership?" Then he spit on the contract, ripped it, and then
threw it in the trash and
threw
lit
it in
it
the
on
trash.
fire.
Lit it on fire. So that's kind of what that's kind of how it goes with those kind of partnerships. They're like, if it has anything to do with that Xbox, we're gonna light it on fire. Which, again, it's understandable. Sony's trying to be competitive on that, which makes sense. So you don't want your competitor to have access to that too. So. Okay, speaking of negatives, by the way, Stadia sucks. So their VP of head and product left Google. So that is John Justice, vice president and product head of Stadia at Google. Along with Phil Harrison, Justice was the face of the project, frequently giving interviews and talking to the press. Justice hasn't updated his LinkedIn, but following a report from The Information, which I imagine is like a website or something, Google told 9 to Google, "We can confirm John is no longer work with Google, and we wish him well on his next step." I have another question. Like, what does this person actually do? Vice president and product head of Stadia at Google. Like, I know what they actually should be doing, but Stadia doesn't do anything. It took them months to get a search bar, so I'm like kind of curious what this person was doing. Like Stadia doesn't really like do much.
I couldn't tell you what most people do based on their job title because most job titles are just kind of like mumbo jumbo bullshit. So, yeah.
Like in some cases, like I would know what this person does is they would define the direction of your Google Stadia, follow through with it, and figure out the timetable of all those different updates on the product. But the reason why I question it is because it took months to get a search bar on Stadia to search games and such. So I question immediately how that even happened. And second of all, like the only thing that Stadia's reasonably done is added some games to their library. I don't actually know other major changes that have been added to Google besides they're just like they shut down their one studio. Maybe he was just bad at his job. I don't know. Or maybe he was just taking the Google money. Google pays well. They also give you free food and stuff. So Google's great for that kind of thing. If you really are interested in being pampered while being paid a lot, Google's where it's at. Google's where it's at. So that's why I question. I'm like, well, like there are certain features Stadia didn't have that I don't feel like would be. I feel like they should have been at the very beginning of the roadmap, like the search bar thing. But they were implemented like almost like a year plus later. Like it makes no sense. So that's why I question it. So I mean like it is a big deal because it's a vice president and product head of this particular brand, which is Stadia. But it's just like I was just like I gotta be honest, like shit, like what did you actually implement on Stadia that made it more valuable as a product? That's my question. uh I really don't know. Maybe a few more games. So um
Yeah, I mean, I I don't know what this person did, and to me it doesn't matter. This is just more evidence that I'm pretty sure Stadia is actually dead. They just haven't officially killed it yet, but
Right.
they're just letting it smolder in the corner for a while, and they're just gonna keep it up, in case whatever people want to use it, and
Right.
I'm sure they spent a lot of money, resources,
Oh,
servers,
a ton.
etc. on it. They spend a ton on it, but I'm pretty sure this project has gotten the axe from Google by this point,
Yeah.
and they just haven't officially announced that it's getting the axe. But they closed the game studio. Like, this guy's gone. I'm pretty sure there's a couple other
Jade
people
Raymond was a big one
yeah,
who
we talked
moved
about a
on.
few other people who left, and this thing doesn't exist anymore. They're like, Stadia exists, but they are not going to continue developing for it. They are not going to add new features to it. They're not. Maybe they'll get another game here and there that comes onto it, but I mean, Stadia is dead. If you were one of the three people who was a fan of Stadia, I'm sorry, but I mean, if the writing wasn't already on the wall, I think it certainly I
Yeah.
think it has been, but the Stadia is dead. It's smoldering in a corner, and Google's gonna, I guess, keep it on life support for as long as they can, but I don't. It's not going anywhere after this point.
Yeah.
Like,
It's worth adding in here. This is a Bloomberg report at the very second paragraph that you can see on the screen. From February, revealed the service missed Google's internal sales estimates by hundreds of thousands of users. Now, we don't know the full context of this. Like, for example, if a product, for example, was like, our sales estimate is 100 million units, and we missed that, we got 99,500,000. It's a little bit different. But for Stadia, something tells me that their estimate was like, we want 1 million units, and they missed it by hundreds of thousands. That's really bad.
they're missing by like 30,
And if
30,
it's
40, 50%.
and if it's lower than 1 million, that's like critical. You're on you really are in a critical state. I imagine it's actually like their sales estimate were probably like a million or so users, and they missed that. Here's what I think is going to happen with Stadia. Here's what I think is going to happen. I'm making a prediction. I don't know if I've made this prediction on Stadia before. My prediction on Stadia is new. This is what's going to happen. Google Stadia. Dave from Google Stadia is going to get on the stage. Whoever the new face of Stadia is going to be, which who knows what it's going to be. Well, I guess if Phil Harrison's still there, he'll get on the stage and he'll go, we've decided to make a major update to Google Stadia. If you were a Google Stadia Pro member, and if you're a Google Stadia user, we are going to no longer sell video games on our platform. We're going to adopt a subscription model. All games will be playable as of this moment for those of you who aren't Stadia Pro. And if you're not on Stadia Pro, you need to buy Stadia Pro. Because Google Stadia is actually getting on the service is free. You have to buy the games. Yeah. And if you want increased quality, you have to buy it. I think they're going to come out and they're going to be like, okay, we're going to have like 2 tiers of Stadia. We're going to keep the Pro tier where the higher quality stuff comes in, and then we're going to have a subscription on the lower tier. So they're going to come out with some, and they're going to overprice it because it's Google. So it's going to be like $15 for the lower tier and like $20 for the higher tier. Something stupid. Something like really illogical. And they're going to come out with that. And people are going to be like, still going to say no, but it's better, but that's what it should have released as a subscription model.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it should have been off the bat. That's what everyone thought it was going to be until they announced their asinine payment model before it came
That's
out.
what everybody else is doing. Amazon is doing that. For Amazon's own poor choices with their game studios, they at least had the presence of mind to go, hey, if we're going to do cloud gaming, we need to do a subscription model like everybody else expects us to do. And their subscription actually is pretty fairly priced for a consumer. I forgot what it is. It's called Amazon
Luna.
Amazon Luna. Thank you. I'm so glad you remembered it, even though I tried it once.
Yeah, I haven't used it, but somehow
I've used it too, and I had positive things to say about it. I only had positive things to say about it, and it's fairly priced. I really don't think that it's a bad thing to be interested in like something like Luna. I'm trying to figure out where the frickin' pricing is. Okay, Amazon Luna pricing, but it was like $6 or something. Amazon Luna's low tier was like $6, my understanding. So here's Luna, just to sort of give some context. And Luna was $6. This is the early access price. I'm sure that's going to change. By the way, that might change to like maybe 10. Who knows? But the early access price was really low.
Yeah, it's $6 a month.
It's $6.
Early access price.
There's like an Ubisoft Plus.
There's the Ubisoft Plus that more than doubles the cost of it to $15 a month. But
because you get all the Ubisoft games. That's their thing. The Ubisoft does this on all their stuff. They're like, hey, we're special. We're Ubisoft. Which I'm kind of like, Ubisoft, why are you like this? But yeah, it's if you want to play Ubisoft games for free. You could probably like, I suppose like, it could make sense if you're like, I've never played these Ubisoft games. Like maybe if I want to play like an Assassin's Creed game for a month and then drop it, maybe it makes sense to just buy it for $15 for the month and then get off of it. I mean, it makes sense, but Luna's priced well, in my opinion. That's a good price. $6 is a great price for even like a mediocre library of games, which Luna has like probably a subpar library, in my opinion. But I think Google Stadia is going to come out with something from Phil. Phil's going to come out and go, we've decided to change to a subscription model. And everybody's going to laugh and go, ha ha ha, it's too late.
Yeah, either that or they're just going to let it smolder for another year or two and
Probably
then finally kill it. So I don't know.
I wouldn't be that surprised either of that one. But Google has to pivot on this. They do. They won't, but they have to. I don't think they will though. I think Google's stubborn, so I don't think they will. I think Google's stubborn. I think they want to be. I think they want to feel like they were right all along, but they're not right. They're just wrong.
They screwed the pooch on that one.
They really badly. It's funny just because you're like, okay, like why haven't you pivoted yet? But it's also just sad because people keep leaving or they keep closing studios and stuff and kicking people out of their jobs, and you're just like, okay, yep. Guys, what are you doing? You gave them 1 year to make a game. That's not how it works. You can't cobble together a poopy game like you can like potentially a very simple product as a minimum viable thing. Throw it out there and expect people to go, oh yeah, this is fine. It's an MVP of something. It's a minimum viable product, so it's okay. It can not be a full feature set. That's not how it works, really, with games for the most part. It's not really how it works. It doesn't work out in the way that they anticipated. So, I just Google's Google. They're funky. But if you work at Google, you're paid super well. You get taken care of. You get everything you need and more. So
yeah, they just think they're smarter than everybody. So
they do 100%.
They're just stubborn, and when they have an idea and it doesn't work, they're not going to admit that their idea sucked. And yeah,
they're gonna whatever do some other crap for it. Okay. Any other thoughts on why Stadia is terrible?
Nope.
Okay, great. Okay. Epic paid I'm just gonna say 150. I know it's not. $150 million for Borderlands 3 PC timed exclusive. That exclusive lasted
a year, I think.
Yeah, a year. Wait, hold on a second. For a timed exclusive window.
6 months.
It says 6 months? I thought it was a year. I thought it was a year. That's weird.
Whatever.
And recouped the minimum guarantee part of $80 million in just the first 2 weeks. 150
yeah, so
million
a little bit of context on this. This was one of a number of like documents that came out because of this Apple Epic trial that's going on right now, and apparently they've been using exhibits in this trial, and a lot of these were like confidential documents, and apparently there's a lot of third parties that are getting real pissed off at these lawyers who are keep sharing these confidential documents. Yeah, so apparently that's a little bit of a shit show right now, but
yep.
Anyways,
Yeah, obviously they don't want that stuff to go out. I can see why they would not want those things to go out.
Like there was one about, Sony making other companies pay them to have crossplay with PlayStation or something like that, and that one was pretty bad too. I didn't put that one on the doc, but that was one of them too.
Okay, I just want to point out some data that come out here. Um, Epic recouped the cost of its minimum guarantee payment in just 2 weeks and managed a net revenue of $9 million from sales. Cool. Um, During that period, 1.56 million people came to the game store to play Borderlands 3, 53% of which were new to the platform.
Yeah, not surprising.
So for so I guess 7.5 roughly 7.5 million people. No, sorry, not 7.5. 750,000. Sorry, I don't know why I said 7.5. So 750,000 of those folks were new to the platform. So you pay $150 million to get 750,000 new folks onto your platform. So 150, 123, 123 divided by 75, 123. So they pay $200 for a new person to get on their freaking platform. And then in total, what was 1.5? So yeah, okay, that's a really high acquisition cost for those folks. So in order to get all those folks onto their platform to play Borderlands 3, that was $100 per head. Close to that. So, yeah. There you go. That cost them a lot to get folks onto their store. That's a lot of cost. I can't exactly say for certain because only really Epic would know how much it costs to acquire a new user onto the Epic Game Store. But $200 sounds like a lot.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot for
That's
one
a
user.
lot for user acquisition cost.
But they made money overall on this game, didn't they? That's what it said.
Well, they
Or
made
was
they net revenue of nine
net
point two million, not
yeah.
profit, revenue.
Oh, revenue, not profit. Got it. My bad.
They did say net revenue, yeah. So I don't know. Like it did just say the first 2 weeks. This was just first 2 weeks of sales, maybe more. Maybe
Yeah, I
more
mean,
came
I
in.
posted this because I just thought it was interesting. Like we've seen all these, exclusivity deals and stuff, but we've never known how much it cost. Well, okay, it was 150
150
million for
million dollars.
Borderlands 3,
Uh,
which
will be
I'm
the
not sure.
most expensive exclusive they will have gotten.
Yeah, I'm sure probably by a long shot. But um, yeah, I don't know. I just thought this was an interesting piece of information because I don't remember if we'd speculated before on how much we thought it would, cost them for Borderlands or any of the other exclusives, but
That's much more than I would have thought, to be
that's what. Yeah.
honest.
Okay.
That is much more than I would have thought, to be honest.
Would
But
you have
still,
thought in like the tens of millions, maybe
I would have thought 50 million.
50 million? Okay.
But 146 million makes some sense, I suppose, because it's a it's an extremely popular brand.
Yeah. It was only for 6 months as well. Jeez. Yeah.
That was for
Though
6.
I mean, though release window is, you're gonna get the majority of your sales in the release
Yeah,
window
you're
probably, or like
yeah.
maybe holidays and like when sales come up, you'll get another spike. But you
Yeah.
with gaming, so many people buy games day one or within the first couple of weeks. Like, you know,
Well, Take Two made bank on this.
yeah,
Yeah.
Take Two
Take Two
made
made a
money
lot of
on
money off of
this.
this.
Yeah,
Take Two made a good amount on this for getting this particular exclusive deal. Not sure how much trickles down to Gearbox. I'm sure Gearbox trickles down to them. So Gearbox also, I'm sure, gets a nice little paycheck on this too. 100%, I imagine that happens, where they're like, hey, here's some of that cash. I would hope at least that happens, but who knows? I mean,
speaking of trickle down economics and bullshit,
mm-hmm.
um, I heard something today. Again, I don't have the link or a story that that CD Projekt was distributing bonuses for their for Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, apparently the devs got absolutely hosed, and that most of the money went to the bigwigs who made such a fucking horrible decision to release the game early. So
Yeah, can I just make a comment? Yeah, why are we shocked that the executives of Cyberpunk are actually pieces of shit too? Why are we
yep,
shocked at this? Um, it's like, oh wait, you got this is like probably a terrible time for them. Like mainly because people are finally saying, wow, they're actually kind of pieces of shit too.
yeah,
Huh?
they suck.
Huh? These guys actually suck too.
Just like everybody else that
Just
makes
like
a
all the others.
shit ton of money. The people at the top who are making the decisions and who are raking all the cash, yeah, those people are assholes.
They also had
And they
something else where somebody left CD Projekt Red, like a person who was
oh oh yeah.
behind Witcher 3,
Yeah, Witcher
some like
3,
big
yeah,
face
there was
there.
something on that
Some
too.
bullying.
He was accused of bullying, and they did an internal investigation, and they didn't really like press charges or really find anything significant at least to do anything to him. But then he just decided to leave because it was just like toxic workplace. Like people don't like him because they accused him of workplace bullying. So he's like, yeah, I'm just out.
Yeah, just leave. Just leave.
Yeah.
Just be like, fine, like goodbye. Whether it's true or not, like goodbye. Um, yeah, huh? Must must be tough for CD Projekt to realize that people now see them for who they are.
Yep.
Oh well, there you go. That's
Who's
what
the next?
happens. Only
Who's next?
the mighty fall.
Who's next on the chopping block?
What if it's Naughty
What?
Dog? What will happen? What do you think will happen if it comes out like Naughty Dog is actually a terrible place and they've been sweeping it all under the rug for a long time? How devastated would the game community be?
I mean, once they make a bad game, we'll find that. But man,
Yeah, you gotta make a bad game for people to realize these things.
yeah, they got to make a bad game first. Which I mean, I know a portion of the gaming community would argue that Last of Us 2 was a bad game, but obviously the journalists did not agree with that
Yeah, of
sentiment for
course
the
not.
most part. So, um, yeah, I mean, I'm sure those kinds of articles would come out if they made some sort of broken, buggy, or crappy release. But I mean,
Just make a bad game. Just make a game everybody hates. That's how you figure all these things out. Probably not a good thing, but you know, I mean, there you go. That's what happens sometimes. So yeah, Epic paid a
yep.
lot for Borderlands 3, and I imagine they pay a decent chunk for plenty of other exclusives they've had in the past. So, okay. All right. Next thing. Another Blizzard thing. I feel like we should have packaged it with Bobby Kotick. Blizzard revenue is up despite losing millions of active users. Okay, can I make a comment? I think most of those users are going to be Overwatch. I
I
didn't even
think
read this, but I imagine most of
I
it's
mean,
Overwatch.
yeah, I assume it's on the Blizzard side with I mean, HOTS has been down for a while.
Hot's been
You know,
down. Blizzard, probably
I mean,
WoW. WoW a little
Blizzard
bit.
hasn't Blizzard hasn't released anything new in a while, other than like Warcraft 3 Reforged last year, but that was a total bust. So,
Hold on a second.
uh,
I'm getting a call. Blizzard's telling me they didn't release that game. They
oh
said it
yeah,
never
I'm sorry,
existed. This
I
it
forgot.
doesn't
I
exist.
forgot
There's
that
no
it didn't
Reforged.
exist. Yeah, I mean, I've personally, it's been a while for me, but I don't have a single Blizzard game installed right now. I still have the BattleNet app installed on my computer, but uninstalled every single game that's attached to it.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I mean, this isn't surprising, but I
Let's
mean, yeah,
see,
the revenue's
2
up
million
because
players.
Call of Duty exists.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean Call of Duty will bring that up. I'm just looking at the numbers. So 38 million Q1 2018 to 27 million Q1 2021. So again, I'm actually going to attribute that to Overwatch to a certain extent. Overwatch was
Overwatch,
vastly
HOTS,
more popular in my opinion in
mostly
2018
Overwatch
than it is in
now.
2021. So, yeah, I could see what is that? 11 million Overwatch folks dropping ship among the other games, maybe WoW here and there when the expansions are not as prevalent. 2018, so Diablo probably didn't matter that much. I guess Hearthstone I feel like might have dipped as well. Hearthstone might have. Um But the thing is, I don't know because Battlegrounds was so popular and Battlegrounds was coming out around that 2018, 2019 mark. I think. Yeah. Something like that. So I'm pretty sure Overwatch is to blame there. And HOTS stopped development, what? 2017? 2018? Do we remember?
No, it was later than that. I want to say it was like end of 2019
Okay,
actually.
so HOTS 2.
It was either end of 2018 or end of 2019. I'm not
So
sure.
HOTS 2. Okay. So that's what you were mentioning. So HOTS 2. Okay. So I think I think Overwatch and definitely HOTS, but Overwatch I think is going to be a big chunk of that. Um, and I'm not surprised because Overwatch hasn't had any new content in a year. Basically, they haven't had any
Yep.
reasonable content. So, and Jeff being gone too is just like, where's that game going? Is a huge question mark. So I'm not surprised that a lot of that drop came Q4 2020 to Q1 2021.
I feel like Blizzard right now is actually on like a little bit of a they're like teetering a little bit on the edge. Like if if D4 and Overwatch 2 come out and they're kind of eh, like I mean I don't know. I don't know if Blizzard's gonna would
We're not seeing a
flip.
StarCraft game probably ever again. We're not
No,
going to see a StarCraft game ever again unless
not an
StarCraft,
RTS at
yeah,
least.
unless StarCraft Battle Royale comes out, which I might play. Um, but yeah, there's no more StarCraft RTS games. I'm looking at this. That monthly active users. Okay, I see that. Yeah, but look at Activision. If you look at the chart that Tricourge
Yeah,
posted,
I
so
see it.
Activision was at 102. I imagine that's a million. I imagine they're running this in the millions based on what we've seen. So it went from 102 million to 150 million Activision player base, which that's Call of Duty umbrella. So over the course of a year, they gained 50 million players. Yeah, so all those Blizzard folks plus more, they're jumping to the Call of Duty side. I if to your point about Blizzard teetering, so currently, let's talk about Blizzard's relevant titles. I've already mentioned. I don't think Overwatch is still there, but I don't think it's as relevant, right? Hearthstone.
Well, when Overwatch 2 comes out, it'll probably come back, assuming Overwatch 2 is good.
We'll say current, but current titles that Blizzard you would consider relevant. Hearthstone, we can't argue that it
But yeah,
is.
Hearthstone's relevant.
Diablo 3 is not relevant right now.
No.
Okay, Overwatch, it's there, but I don't consider it to be very relevant.
It's declining for sure.
Yeah. WoW
Wow.
is. I mean, it had an expansion. Player base, I'm sure, jumped for that. Who knows where it's at now? But WoW is going to be relevant, right? HOTS is not relevant. We can ignore that. Like that's
StarCraft is not relevant.
StarCraft's. I'm sorry, StarCraft folks. Like I love StarCraft 2 as well, but it's not. It's not relevant here. It's still relevant in other places, but not here. So and the thing is, we're gonna get a Diablo 4 and a remaster of Diablo 2. I do think people will receive the remaster well, and I do think that they need Diablo 4 to do well. Not just okay. It needs to do well. Overwatch 2, I have no freaking clue. I don't even know if people actually want it. I've heard people wanted a single player campaign in Overwatch. I don't know how they feel now. I guess I've heard people that were like, yeah, that'd be fun. Maybe having that PVE experience. Overwatch has had some decent PVE type events. They have. They have been pretty enjoyable that I've experienced. So it's not like I'm going to say all their stuff is dumb. That wouldn't be fair. But I think Overwatch 2 needs to come out next year. And it needs to be really good. It needs to be very good. Otherwise, no one's going to care. And Blizzard will essentially make 2 games moving forward. Maybe 3. 3 games. If Diablo doesn't work, if Diablo 4, let's say if Diablo 4 is an okay game, but Diablo Immortal is good, as in it makes money. You can expect Diablo to only be mobile.
Yep.
And you can expect, I fully expect a StarCraft mobile game to come out. I fully expect that. I think that'll happen. I think they're going to do that because they've already mentioned they want to do mobile games with their IPs in the past. We're going to see a StarCraft mobile game, and I don't think it's going to get received particularly well. I feel like we're going to get some post 2 years from now that's like, Blizzard only makes Hearthstone and WoW.
Blizzard is basically dead to me at this point because, I mean, Blizzard used to be literally my favorite game company, and they're just like, I'm excited for D4. D4 looks good from what I've seen, but yeah, StarCraft is pretty much dead. I don't care about Hearthstone. I don't care about WoW. I played Overwatch for a bit, but not really my cup of tea to play long term.
Sure.
Like, it wasn't a bad game, but
no,
I thought it was fun for a bit, but
yeah,
I'm not gonna go hard on something like that. Honestly, the D2 remake, like, I watched, they had a beta like a month ago or something like that. I don't remember. I watched a bit of it, and I saw people saying, "Oh man, this is amazing! Like, I wish they just remake Diablo 2 again and again, and every game be Diablo 2." I was watching, I'm like, this looks annoying. Like, it didn't look fun to me. I was like, "Yep, this looks like what Diablo 2 was, and mana management is annoying. All you do is spam potions, and you're out of mana constantly." I'm like, this just looks freaking annoying. Like, this doesn't look fun to me.
Sure.
Like,
there are definitely folks that want the Diablo 2 experience. They want that experience. The make a character, deck it out, obviously, level it up, bring it up to a super high power level, rinse and repeat for all the other characters. And that happens in Path of Exile. We know that's a thing that people want, and not everybody's going to want that. So it's reasonable. But I do think Diablo 2 Remastered will get well received because a lot of people wanted that.
I do as well. Just watching the game again and reminding myself what Diablo 2 is, like, I'm really not that interested.
Oh,
it's
a lot of work. It's a lot of stuff.
It looks like a pain in the ass. I'm like, if I want to play Diablo, I'll go back and play D3. That game, I actually think D3 is fun. Like,
D3 is good. It's enjoyable. It didn't start off particularly well, in my opinion, but it improved. It improved a lot. I personally I am interested in a Diablo 2 remaster, but if I've got nobody to play with, it would really suck. So hopefully somebody else will like it. Hopefully somebody else will like it and decide to play with me. I'm sorry it's not Destiny 2, but it's, Diablo 2 is pretty fun. Please, somebody sign up and play with me if you're interested. Please. So I hope that one goes well. Like Diablo 4, I hope goes well. And I already got a lull no from Tricourage. I can't get him to play anything with me anymore. It's like it's Destiny 2 or bust. It's truly tragic.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Let's move on, I think.
Okay.
Unless you have anything more to say about Blizzard. I don't.
Blizzard makes me sad, and that's all I have to say about Blizzard. They make me sad. It's just a sad. It's the only reason I say it's sad. It's not because their games aren't like these super successful monstrous giants. Like you can get a really awesome game that doesn't have this god tier following. It's just sad because Blizzard will never innovate or try to again.
Nope.
They will never try again because innovation doesn't buy Bobby Kotick or Kotick, whatever his name is, a condo in Hawaii. It doesn't do that. So that's truly what sucks. That's what sucks is we'll never get a Blizzard game that's going to try and push the envelope because their games, we'll say, even Overwatch pushed the envelope. Yep. Because Activision, the old witch of Activision wasn't over there.
They let them have that one.
Creeping on there. They let them have it and it worked. And then they failed 2 times and that was it. They failed actually 2 times and that was it. That's the leash, man. It's crazy. It's like Blizzard was a successful developer for that long, and the leash was still that tight. That's insane, to me at least. That's insane. So, which is funny because like a company like BioWare has this really long leash for some reason, and I'm like, man, BioWare's had like this really long like they're not really necessarily still they're still allowed to do stuff. They're not necessarily in the doghouse. I feel yet, which is funny. So that's what confuses me about all this. Is like certain developers get no leash, but do well, but like others just get to do whatever the hell they want, and fuck up several times without getting any sort of backlash, in my opinion. Um, yeah, I've got nothing else.
Okay.
So, can we actually, outside of news, can we talk about the World Ends with You anime for a little bit?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Let's talk about the World Ends with You anime.
I have I also have up here, just for those curious, I have a Fortnite highlight, but I'm saving it. I'm saving it because it's a juicy highlight. Um, yeah. So can you talk about World's Ends with You background first before we get into the actual show particulars?
What do you mean, like background? Like
Well,
what it is?
it's a game. It was a
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah. So yeah, The World Ends with You is a video game. It came out in the late, I don't know, it was like 2007, 2008, maybe 2009. I'm not exactly sure the year, on the DS. Produced by Square Enix. Director Tetsuya Nomura, the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend. Um, and yeah, it's kind of a cult classic game that there's being a cult classic, there's a group of people who really liked it, and I mean that was kind of it. People were disappointed there was never a sequel or anything like that. And come a couple of years ago, they announced a port and they ported it to Switch. And a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago or so, they announced that they are actually now making a sequel, which is coming out over the summer, at the end of July, I believe, called Neo: The World Ends with You. And they are currently releasing a TV anime, 12 episodes, that encompasses the story of the first game.
From Funimation.
From Yeah, well,
From Funimation. On
yeah,
Funimation.
it's on Funimation. It's
On
streaming on
Funimation.
Funimation. I don't know who the like actual studio who's making it is. I want to say it's like Production IG or something like that, but I
Sure.
don't know.
Sure.
Um, and yeah, I mean, I don't want to delve into spoilers. Like the gameplay is really unique and different in The World Ends with You. I haven't played the original game, but I played the Switch port. All the gameplay is done using the touch screen. Like you have to swipe, and all the attacks are tapping or swiping or doing a bunch of different things on the touchscreen. Moving is done that way. So yeah, I found the gameplay a little bit. It's just imprecise. It's not bad, but in more difficult combats against more difficult enemies, it's a little bit frustrating because like I'm trying to move, but then I attack instead. I'm trying to attack, but then I move instead. It's hard to dodge stuff, and I mean, most of the time playing the game, if it's going well, it's fine. You just kind of spaghetti on the screen and kill everything. But again, when it requires more precise movements and yeah, precision in general, it's kind of difficult and annoying.
Yeah.
Um, but overall, the game is fun. It's not super long. It's like 20 to 25 hours, I would say. Um, and I just really liked the story and the characters of the game. Again, it's not
Sure.
like even probably a top 10 game for me. I just think it's cool and I like it. And I suggested the anime because I'm like, well, it's the anime. It has the story, but you don't have to deal with the annoying gameplay. So this will probably work pretty well. Um,
So
so
let's
yeah, I mean,
let's not go into spoiler territory with the show too far. Let's let's try and avoid like I don't remember what episode it was, but there was like the big spoiler with one of our supposed main characters at the beginning. Let's maybe avoid that one. Let's just because I think that's a big deal. That's a really big deal.
yeah,
And if that is spoiled for you, that I think part of your experience would be tainted. So let's avoid that one. But maybe let's just try and talk about everything else maybe before that and other things that are not spoiler territory that are perceptions of the like certain things. And like for me, I'm coming in blind, so I have
Yeah.
opinions on some characters.
Yeah, I mean, it starts out. I mean, your main character his name is Neku, and he has amnesia. Big surprise, JRPG amnesia main character. It actually makes sense. They explain it eventually why he has an amnesia. But that's a little bit of a spoiler as
It's a
well.
spoiler. Let's leave it.
Um, and yeah, he's dropped in the middle of a Shibuya, and he realizes that he can't interact with anybody. And then he runs into this girl named Shiki. He finds out he's in this thing called the Reaper's game, and they have to survive for 7 days, completing various missions and killing enemies called the Noise. Um, and yeah, Neku's a very introverted, doesn't like dealing with people, very emo. And I mean, yeah,
Shiki's
there's
the
a couple other.
exact opposite,
Yeah,
basically.
Shiki's this very bubbly personality who loves people, and obviously we see a transformation in our main character as we go along. Um, and there's a couple other characters named Beat and Rhyme who are also two other players in the game. Um, and that's about all that I'm comfortable saying
That's it. No, that's
without
it. Let's leave it at that.
without spoiling
No, no, no.
anything.
Let's leave it there. No, let's leave it there. That's like our for the first couple episodes. That's who we know best. That's who we know best. There's a couple and villain characters,
The Reapers.
the Reapers, and that's really you don't actually get a lot outside of
Yeah,
that. You're
it's meant to be a little bit of a confusing start. It's
yeah,
kind of by design that
yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah. Which it works pretty well because you're in the shoes of Neku, and you're just trying to figure out what the hell is going on with him. So it kind of works. You're like, okay, this world is interesting. You're in like this in between situation where it's like you're in some kind of like alternate. I'm just gonna say alternate dimension. You're like in between. You can see the real world, but you are not
Able to
100% a part
interact.
of it.
You're not able
You're
to interact with anyone in it.
you can interact with some things though, I guess, but that's like
Yeah,
that comes into play pretty late in where we're at so far in the show.
you
But
can like read. You can read their mind. They
yeah,
can
yeah,
like read
it's
their
this is
minds
called
and stuff like
scanning.
that.
What scanning?
Scanning.
Scanning. Yeah,
Yeah,
you scan
scanning.
them. Which again, it's you help scan and resolve conflicts as a part of your missions that you get. You have to do these missions. It it's interesting. That all part's interesting. At least to me, I liked the idea of okay, you got to do your mission in a certain amount of time. Oh, you can scan people. That's helpful information, possibly for the future. You get like little tidbits of information that are relevant to the current character's mission and also relevant to the story down the road, where you can pick up and say, "Oh, that's why." It's like you're essentially like you are training with the characters. I like this. I like this a lot. It does feel like a video game in that sense. Um, so I just want to say I receive I my perception is very positive of that part of the show, and I do like the main cast of characters you get. I like them. I like them. They're good. They work well together. Good chemistry. Good chemistry, except for episode one. Good chemistry. I don't like the start. The start confuses me, so I just go past it with the character interactions. But their chemistry is really good. Um, so that's my like blind perception of all this. It's very good chemistry. It does make me like consider playing the game just to see if there's any different stuff in it. But
It moves very. I mean, as I said, the game isn't that long, but the anime moves really really
yeah,
fast.
it is fast. It's a little too fast. So it's a little
Yeah, I
too
agree.
fast.
It's too fast.
I wish they would slow down. They
They've only got
clearly
they've only got 12 episodes, so
yeah.
yeah.
I wish they would have maybe added 3 more episodes to that list to slow it down. But somebody had a little bit too much coffee and they're going a million miles per hour. Um, I currently what episode are we on, Spoon? Can you please give me a
We've watched 4
okay?
episodes so
So
far. Five will be the next one.
a
We're a
third of the
third.
way
We're a
in.
third of the way through the show. Yeah.
Okay, I imagine we're gonna get more development. I find these villains boring. They're some of the most uninteresting villains I've ever experienced in my life. I don't like them. I wish they would get more backstory. I know they will, and if they don't, I'll be disappointed. They're super uninteresting. They're just there to be a speed bump, and it bothers me. There's nothing to them, I find. They have their quirks, And I don't understand why villains in games and shows, that's not development. A quirk is not a development. It is a quirk. It's the same thing with Xenoblade 2. Xenoblade 2 villains have quirks, and it pisses me off. That's not development. It's a quirk. Give less quirks, more other stuff. I know they'll give more, so don't spoil it. I know they'll give more. I'm confident that Tetsuya Nomura considered
confidence. You have confidence in Tetsuya.
I have confidence that he considered this. The one thing that Tetsuya Nomura does is he really develops things. Probably too much, but he does develop it. So he's
only got one game for this, and not like 12, like in Kingdom Hearts.
So I'm confident though that he thought about this enough and recognized that someone with a small brain like me would jump to this conclusion, and he sat down and said, okay, somebody like Otto with a tiny brain and a very slow learning process and very quick to conclusions is going to think these Reapers are boring as hell. I'm going to develop them later down the road, and then he's going to have the aha moment. That's what I'm waiting for. If I don't get that spoon, I will tell you right now, I will sigh heavily. I won't be mad, I'll be disappointed, because Tetsuya Nomura develops things really heavily, too much so. But it's better than nothing at all. It is better than nothing at all to at least get something. So I have that confidence that will be the case. So don't spoil it. But I want to tell you now, if that's not the case, I will actually be disappointed in Nomura, because my perception of him is he develops things too much. And if he didn't develop these Reapers enough, and this like game, by the way, I keep seeing these different game masters, and they're not interesting. They're just sort of like, they just sort of scream. Like the new one in the new episode just sort of like screamed a bunch.
The math dude.
Yeah, the math dude. And I was like, all right, dude, who brought the kindergartner here? So these villains are boring. They have quirks though. They have quirks, but that's not development. That's a quirk. And I'm not a fan of quirk villains. Quirky villains are boring. I would much prefer something else. It's the same issue I have with Xenoblade. I don't want to reiterate it more, but the Torna and Xenoblade, many of them have quirks. I don't like quirks that much.
Yeah, I mean, the side, like Akos, Patroka, and Mikhail
they're quirky.
They're just kind of they're side villains. Jin and Malos are the ones you're supposed to care about, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I'm not going to say anything, but yes. And these Reapers here, they're quirky.
Yeah, the Reapers they're just kind of there.
But I want them to be more than that. And I do like how, no spoilers, so I'm not going to spoil it, but the newest Reaper, cool. Good idea. Yeah. Very good idea. I liked that. That was the only thing I liked. Yeah.
Neku went one way after the first cycle, and that character went the other way.
And a character went another way. Great. Fantastic stuff. Like it. And I could see why the character went the other way. So you can understand why your characters may may have a specific choice, and they take it that way. So it's very, very good. I liked it. I have to comment on the music. I'm commenting on the opening. I'm sorry. I hate it.
I know you hate the opening.
I've decided that I can't stop you all from watching it, but I hate it. I can't understand a goddamn word in the opening, and it makes me angry. I want to understand a word in it. Just one. I want to understand just one, but I don't understand any of it. I'm not against rap songs either. I want that to be very clear. I'm not against it. I think that they can have a really nice beat and theme, but if I can't understand a word in it, and I hate it. It's not Japanese, it's English. I feel like an idiot, which is probably true, but I feel really dumb. And I want to understand a word. But you guys, I think you guys kind of like it, so I'm like, I kind of sit back and just deal with it. But man, I have to tell you, I hate it. I don't think it changes my opinion of the show, but I have to let you know I hate it. Because I know you like openings.
What about the music other than the opening?
I think it's fine. It's fine. Ultimately, I think it's fine. It's good. It hasn't like conflicted with what's going on yet. I can't name a show that does that, but there are some shows that do that.
I can see not liking the opening And I feel this way about the game too, but I think for the most part the music freaking slaps. And there are a
Mhm.
few tracks here and there that I don't like, but
Mhm.
for the most part I love the music. It's really unique and different, and it really works.
Yeah, no, I think it's fine. It ultimately is fine. I have no complaints, so it hasn't detracted from my experience. So I'm like, okay, this is good. That's good. Also, I just want to say that I have a high opinion of bangers. Have you heard Fighting Dreamers? That's a banger. Fighting Dreamers is a banger. Fighting Dreamers is one of the catchiest songs I've ever heard in my life.
Have you heard
That's a
any
banger.
have you heard any Flow anime opening ever? That's a banger.
Those are bangers. Yes, they I'll never forget them. Those are bangers for me. They're unforgettable. Dragon Ball GT's opening is a banger. It's unforgettable. You'll never forget Dragon Ball GT's opening. You'll never forget Step into the Grand Tour for the rest of your life. You will never forget it. It's a banger.
I want to forget it. I want to
No,
forget it.
No, you don't.
Yes, I
It's
do.
great.
It's awful.
No, it's great. It's a great one. What else? Oh, what else? There's another Dragon Ball Z opening. Oh gosh, Chala. Banger. Never forget it. You'll never forget it for your entire life. Chala head. Yeah, it's great. Those are bangers. Those are bangers. Those are bangers because you'll never forget them.
All right, let's go back to the World Ends with You. Obviously, we're staying away from spoilers, but
sure.
Other thoughts. What else do you like? What else do you not like?
I don't like the weird. I love the art style, but every time I see a CG monster, I get annoyed.
Oh yeah. The noise looked terrible. Oh god.
I think I'm not against the CGI look in a show. I there are shows that I enjoy that have this CGI style to it. I don't want to sound like I'm being hypocritical. That being said, it's very out of place considering the art style. The art style of this show is awesome. I love it. It's
the character
chef's kiss.
The characters look great.
It's a chef's kiss. That being said, whenever the noise come into the screen, I shed a tear because I'm thinking some artist in the room did not want to do that. But Donnie, who was in charge as the director, said, no, we have to do CGI. We have to do it. It's going to be much cooler. And every artist in the room was pissed off because they couldn't get a say in the matter. So they went with the CGI, and some artists cried as a result. And that's why you don't let Donnie in the room. I don't like the CGI, but I like the art style. Art style's great. So I want to give a thumbs up.
I'll just say this 100%. My least favorite part of the show by far is the combat. The combat is just boring. The CGI sucks, and the fights are really boring. It's just I get it. They do it because it's part of the game, but it's just bad. It's a snooze fest.
I don't think it's a complete snooze fest. There are some that I think work. They keep putting a lot of emphasis on like the teamwork powers and like the glowing little like
that's part of the game with like the sync up attacks in the game that's how
you don't have to show it all the time. You don't have to put so much emphasis on it. We've seen it twice. We don't need to see it anymore. Just like let it happen and just go. You don't have to stop the show to show it again.
They have to finish every fight by going Super Saiyan and doing their super power team up attack.
And let me be very clear too. I don't think that sequence is entirely bad in everything. Like for example, in Gundam Seed, when they seed, I seed with them, and it's like it's fine. Like it works. It's a very quick sequence, and it's great. So you really like So I'm not like completely against like showing that because it works in some cases. Like a Super Saiyan 2, like a Super Saiyan kind of works. There's a little bit of like it's thematic. You get some nice feelings. You get some goosebumps, and and it's good. Like it works in some cases. But I think in this show it's a little bit too much. I think they do it a little too much emphasis on it. I don't think it's as impactful as they think it is. I understand it's in the game, so I'll let it slide. But it's not as important as they make it feel, for me at least. I don't think the combat's a snooze fest, though. I think like I think there are some where they do the spinning camera angle, and all I can think of is M. Night Shyamalan in the one live action Avatar movie that they made.
Yep.
It didn't work there.
Doesn't work here either.
Doesn't work here. Doesn't work here. So yeah, I have positive feelings on this show. I just want to say that I like this show.
If you like the story and the characters, then I'm happy because that's what it's about.
I
in
do.
My opinion.
I like the good guy characters. I like their chemistry, and I think the story is interesting. So I haven't fallen asleep yet. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, that's
a great sign.
Man, we tried Euroli in April.
And we don't want to talk about that. I think somebody's gonna watch this and get pissed off if I say my opinions on that. Let's leave that. Somebody's gonna come in and go, "Excuse me, you didn't like Euroli in April? You should burn."
Didn't like the first 3 episodes.
Didn't like the first 3 episodes. You should burn in hell. And I'll just be like, "Well, I'm already there, so it is what it is." Yeah. See, I'm already getting it.
Yeah.
I think it's over for me. You think I should lie to people and just say, "Yeah, no, I loved it. It was great," especially when Who's It What's and She's a Who
yeah,
did that thing with the piano.
I'll just say that, like, with The World Ends With You, we're not gonna go to spoilers, but the thing that happens at the end of the first cycle with Shiki,
it's great.
That messed me up in the game when I found that. I was like, "Oh, come on, game. Please don't do this."
It was very good. It was very good. I can see. I think you like her more than I do, but I liked the moment. I think their chemistry was what I liked more than anything. So when everything changed, it was really cool. It was a good moment. I really liked it, and again, I'm gonna give this show a really nice thumbs up and just say this show is really enjoyable for me. I think it is too fast. I think the CGI monsters are a little bit weird. I think the combat's mediocre to bad, in between mediocre and bad, subpar. So let's say subpar. I don't know. I give it an 8.5. I enjoy it.
Oh wow, that's high.
You're low.
I'm probably at a 7 or a 7.5 for the show.
Oh man,
I think it's too fast.
And no.
The combat is just again. I've played the game and the game is, despite the annoying combat in the game is just far better.
Okay.
No. Yeah, the show isn't quite doing it justice for me. I still like the story. I still love the characters, and I'm glad you're liking it. But
I do. I like it a lot. I'm just a disclaimer though. My taste is super different from Spoon's in a lot of cases. He rates Euroli in April super high. So
Euroli in April's a 10 out of 10.
That exactly.
That show's a freaking masterpiece.
Our taste is different.
But I mean, you also haven't seen the whole. You've seen 3 episodes, and you were bored with 3 episodes, which is fair. If you're bored, you're bored, and I don't want to go any further. Okay, fine. But
I got about 5 to 6 episodes in, and I just said I probably should. I think I'll wait. I'll hold off. This is for the best. But he thinks that's a masterpiece, and I think Tenchi Universe is a masterpiece. It's totally different perspective. And he shakes his head and he's like, "No, it's terrible." But I love it. I love it for what it is.
It's just a meme.
Exactly, it's a masterpiece. It's perfect. No flaws.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll continue watching that episode 5 this weekend. Where are we at on time? I know
I have no class. I don't care.
Okay, so we can go a little longer.
We can go till 10. I don't know.
Oh, we're not going to go that long. I'm going to have to eat dinner. I'm going to eat dinner at some point. But,
okay, so I guess 20 minutes because that's when you usually eat dinner. Okay.
Yeah, we can go another 20 or 30 minutes, assuming we have more stuff to talk about.
Well, I mean, you want to talk about Humankind. I know that.
I do want to talk about Humankind again. We talked about it a lot last week, but you hadn't finished the open dev at that point, and I played it at least one more time, if not 2 more times, since we talked about it last time.
You want? Okay, well. The short version of the Pokemon cards is when they were less expensive, I used to really like getting them. But now they're really expensive, and it's actually gotten to the point where Target has mandated some extremely crazy restrictions on Pokemon cards. I'll save that for later though, but let's talk about Humankind.
I do want to comment on what Megan said in chat. Megan said in chat real quick, I don't always rate animes low, I'll be honest. most of the animes on my list are like 7s and 8s. I don't have much, like, I have some stuff that's below that, but it takes a lot for me to give a show a 9. It also takes, like, a decent bit for me to give a show a below a 7. Like, a lot of things are in the 7 to 8 range. It's like, good, I enjoyed this, but,
Mm.
not, you know, exceptional. If it goes below a 7, there's, like, something that I find fundamentally wrong or
Sure.
annoying with the show. Um, so anyways,
I mean, look, Spoon is a classy person. Really, Spoon is a classy person. I'm not a classy person. I like garbage. For example, I like Fairy Tale. It's garbage. It's like it's delicious garbage. So Spoon doesn't watch bad anime. I watch bad anime. The
I
garbage of the universe is what I like.
I've watched some bad animes. I have definitely watched some bad animes.
But we know though that, like, look, Spoon just wants a good show. That's what he yearns for. And I yearn for Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I yearn for garbage.
And welcome to the Grand Tour.
And welcome to the Grand Tour. That's all I want. So,
I'm gonna ban you.
oh
I'm gonna
Jesus Christ.
freaking ban you.
Oh
That
boy.
show is amazing.
Try, you're treading on dangerous waters. I just want to point this out. Dude. There are certain topics you got to be super careful of. Gundam is a very sensitive topic. That's one of them.
Anyways, Humankind.
Yeah, of course.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm going to skip talking about the UI today. I'm just going to say my opinion is it needs improvement. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to be mean. Last time I was mean, and I'm sure, randomly there are just like things didn't align properly. But I'm going to say it needs a little bit of work, but it's in the right direction. That's all I'm going to say. I need Forex strategy games to believe that I suck at them. Because if they believe this, then they'll know that I need a comeback mechanic to be able to survive when I get someone to go to war with me that is more powerful than I am. And this is just like this. Oh, Jesus Christ. Did she just say what I think she just said?
Yeah, she did, and everyone in chat's looking to get banned today.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. I need Humankind and Civilization, for that matter, to understand that I am not the best player at those games. That's not exactly, I understand this. For example, like whenever I play with Tricourage is really nice, but when he wants to sit on me, he flattens me. Bam, that's it. So I'm not great at them. So when I get someone to go to war with me and they beat me because I concede that they have a stronger army than me, I don't want to be in debt forever, because I don't want to feel like, how I already feel about student loans when I take a student loan. Like it's frustrating. I want Civilization and Humankind in particular to change this so that if I lose a war, I am not perpetually going to lose the game, because at that point I might as well just restart. And I don't want that. Like, I would, like, for example, let me give an example of this. Like, I'm going to use a HOTS example. It's apples to oranges type of game. But HOTS, for everything that we hate about certain parts of the comeback mechanics, there are comeback mechanics. You can conceivably come back when the stars align a certain way, or just you're smart. You're smart enough on how to play the game, so coming back is not an unrealistic thing. However, in Humankind and Civilization, the comeback is like, I almost want to say it's impossible. If you're behind in Civilization and somebody just happens to have a certain, like couple wonders go their way, that's it. You're taking second, whether you like it or not.
I'll say this. In Civilization, I agree with you. I think it's impossible.
Yes.
In Humankind, I think it's conceivable. I'm not sure it's like probable. But with the way that the fame mechanic works, it's not like you're working towards these victory conditions at the end. It's just like whoever has the most score at the end of the game is fame. So if you can find, even though you're behind in science and,
money,
your units suck and your money, it's conceivable that you could find a way to accrue fame in
Mm,
another way. Obviously, a lot of the ways are in just like generating money, population,
sure.
influence, science, etc. But there are other things you can do to generate fame. And while I'm not sure the numbers are right on this, if you stay as the same culture, if you transcend, you're supposed to get a score bonus
Right.
when you transcend, so you can gain more fame in the next era. So again, it is conceivable in humankind with the way this fame mechanic works that you could make a comeback, but is it probable?
It
Likely? I'm not sure. I'm not
yeah.
sure yet. I've not
It
seen it done. I've not played from behind before, so I don't know.
why when you're behind, I'll just tell you it doesn't feel like it's
Well,
conceivable.
yeah, no, I know. I saw,
Yeah.
I
That
saw
was bad.
that stream, and I saw you after that stream. You were very upset.
Well, I actually wasn't as upset. I was just like I was unhappy. Obviously, I was unhappy, but this is one of the challenges with these games. I think I mentioned it. The challenge is these games can snowball and play from. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Today is we're all in
Yeah,
a mood, I think, and I
you're in a
blame
mood.
myself, of course, for
The seed
saying a
joke.
few things for the seed joke, and that's just I think we've spiraled this out of control. But 4X games can be snowbally, and I wish that somebody would come in and figure out the best solution for it. If humankind isn't it, I don't hold it against it. I really don't, actually, because civilization didn't solve it. So if humankind couldn't, that's okay. Do I want it to have that? Yes. Now, putting that aside, the positive experience, which I actually completed in one, I like that experience, obviously, because and I think there were a couple things from that playthrough that I really liked. First of all, I was starting to get the hang of how I wanted my early game to look. Additionally, I was kind of like reviewing all the different units and all the different cultures when I started moving forward into the culture, into those different eras. And I I'm fairly certain I started that particular playthrough with
Olmix, I think you told
I
me.
don't know if it was the Olmecs or not, but I went from like Olmecs or something like that to Greeks to get some science. And Greeks have a great science bonus, and that will retain throughout the entire game. And also, I do think the hoplites are a very good combat unit.
Yeah,
So
the hoplites are really good, actually.
yeah, so I was like, okay, good science, serviceable, defensible unit. If somebody tries to attack me, which I had a couple folks try, hoplites defend well. It was I really felt like even though I was taking a science culture, the units that I was building were still really effective
Yeah, I
in
mean
that particular era.
they're meant as a defensive unit. They get a
Yeah.
combat strength bonus for standing next to each other, which makes sense. Like the Greek phalanx, basically.
So yeah, it was great. And then I went to the English for food because I wanted to bolster my ability to grow. So I went to English, and also they have great archer units. So
Yep, the longbow. Long.
longbows, great. And I continue to grow. I continue to build up my economy and my populations. The actual management of the cities was great. I have one complaint though. Whenever something completes on a city or is ready to be started, you get a notification. Deservedly. Whenever an outpost needs to build anything, there is no notification.
Yep.
Nor do you get a notification when it's finished building. That needs to be
Yep.
fixed. I didn't
Yep.
add that into my feedback, but I recognized it after the fact and I said, I never got a notification when the outpost was completed, when the outpost needed to build something, and when it finished building something. Those three things were frustrating. Because,
Yeah, I agree with that.
yes, if I paid more attention, which that's a tall order, then I would have known to do that. But yeah.
There's so much stuff to pay attention to in 4X games. You're kind of counting on those notifications to tell
You
you
are.
what to do each
Absolutely.
turn. Like that's kind of what you do every turn. You just go through your notifications like, all right, I got to do this, 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 and this, and okay, next turn.
And I felt like in this game it was nice. It was a bit, the micromanaging systems were a little bit better than in Civ, so I liked that. I felt like I was doing a decent job, at least on that playthrough. And I ended up finishing with oh gosh, I can never remember the Korean culture's name. Joseon, thank you.
Joseon.
Which is another science culture, and that completed it. I completed it partway through that particular era. That was it. Game's over. I had several cities. I started to learn, okay, maybe not necessarily attaching everything to one city is the best strategy right away. You may want to slow that down, and once you have a stable city, you can start attaching if you want to do like a one city uh, metropolis civilization, which I kind of want to try at some point, just like do a metropolis idea. But you kind of have to get stable first. You kind of have to get some really strong stability early on, so that your people don't revolt against you. Obviously, I think the diplomacy is pretty interesting. The various different like trade diplomacies, obviously the non-aggression pacts, and open borders and all that. It was pretty good. The diplomacy was pretty good. It's interesting actually getting somebody to be your vassal. So I did beat somebody in a war and force them to be my vassal.
Yep.
I don't fully know what a vassal does for your empire. I imagine they give you certain things just because they're my vassal.
They tribute. You get a ton of gold per turn for having a vassal. They just pay you money every turn because they're your vassal. And you also get access to like all their resources, all their luxuries and strategic resources. You just get in your pool.
Okay, then that's the benefit. Got it. I wasn't sure.
I'm pretty sure you get vision of all their lands and like all the stuff they see.
Okay.
Though also something that happens, and I'm not sure this is a bug or not, but if your vassal like does something against somebody, if they declare war on somebody, or if they like claim land next to somebody's lands, you get a grievance against you, the liege. And I don't know if that's a bug or if that's intended, but it was annoying because I played a game where I was trying to be really peaceful and like ally with a ton of people.
And you got grievances.
Early on in the game, someone else attacked me and I beat them in the war, and then I just made them my vassal, and like, okay, whatever, they'll just be. And then I was trying to get allies with people, and I just kept getting grievances, and I wasn't doing anything. And I think it's because my vassal was doing things.
Okay, well,
again, I don't know if it's a bug or if that's intended, but
who knows? Yeah. Who knows? But that's interesting that occurred. Okay, but anyway, like guy became the my vassal here, so I have people. Oh, I see. If you changed, it sounds a little bit like something else, So I liked my experience. I don't want to spend too much time droning on about it. I think there was one other thing I wanted to mention. Like, you can just like lose units to open waters in the sea. Like, I hope that there's like some kind of like technology in a future era that lets me not have that happen. I had like some units try and go into open sea, and they're like, this unit will die because they're going to get lost at sea. And I was thinking, okay, I can see how that might be something that would be an interesting mechanic. But I kind of want to see this landmass tile that's one bit over there in open ocean.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they need to increase the base movement speed of the embarked units, because I think it's 2 by default.
It's like 2. It's 2.
But if you there's two, wow.
Oh my
I'm sorry.
god.
Yeah, man. Yep. So there's 2 ways to improve that. A, if you pick the Norsemen in Era 3 in the medieval era, I think they just get like +3 movement on ships. So that includes embarked units. And B, if you build the lighthouse wonder, you get like 2 or 3, maybe
the wonder,
on naval units.
Yeah.
So that's the way I got around that. But I don't remember what tech it is or where it is, but the further down you get the tech in the tech tree, your ships get better, so they can spend more turns in open. Like, they'll only take damage for being in open water as opposed to just dying out.
Okay, that would be nice. I was wondering about that, and I was like, why? Like, one turn in open water and they're just gone? What is that? So that's good to hear that there's like a tech that maybe can deal with that. Yeah, other than that, again, I have nothing but positive things really from my full experience. Obviously, it's frustrating losing, but at the same time, you can kind of trail back and say, okay, maybe if I did this, or this differently, that might have worked out better. But I will say the only thing that I find negative about this, other than my other complaint regarding the outposts, is I do think that the UI still needs a little more tweaking. That's my opinion. And there's a couple things that I think need to be adjusted. The magnifying glass is my biggest one already. The magnifying glass requires a magnifying glass to see said magnifying glass. It's not a good sign. So I didn't list. I feel like I didn't list that many negative things. Like other than the water thing, I was just confused by it, and I really wanted to know if there was a tech that fixed that, because that seems weird to like immediately have
Yeah.
something lost at sea. Like, what if you're on a map that's like only open water, like some kind of island map? Like that would be kind of frustrating to deal with. Like how do you like venture across waters reasonably early on in the game if that's just like everybody's gonna get lost at sea? In Civ, at least you could kind of reasonably like. I think in like pretty mid to early game, like there's like a mid game point where you can go out into open waters and like whatever. Um, but
Yeah, in Civ, you can't even your boats can't even go
they can't
onto
even go there.
the deep water until you research the tech that allows you to go into deep
Right.
water. But in this game, you're allowed to go into deep water with the first tech that allows embarkment. But if you stay there for more than one turn, your ship just sinks and you lose
It
your
just goes
unit.
away. But I think it's like overall early on that's okay. But I do wonder. I was just wondering like when's the tech to go into open waters?
Yeah, I don't remember where the tech is. I'm
You
sure it's
know,
there somewhere.
so
But
that I don't want that to seem like it was a negative thing. It was just I was curious. Um, but again, like my negative things were comeback mechanics, outpost, and UI. I think a couple things need to be tweaked. Um, I do still believe that the diplomacy X thing is I don't like it. If it stays, I'll put up with it, but I don't like it, and I'm standing by it. And there's nothing
yeah,
anybody can do to stop me.
true. We can't stop you.
So
Um, yeah, I mean, I continue to really like the game. I've stated most of my issues that I had. I think the pacing of it is still off. Like the comparison between the science pace and the Aerostar pace was very off in this build. Science moved very slowly down the
yes, it
tech
did.
tree, and the stars, you gain the stars once you got going. At least you gain the stars really quickly.
Yes, I agree.
Uh, Again, you would spend probably 40 to 50 turns in the ancient era, and then you could be done with the fourth era, the early modern era, by like turn 100 or 110. So you'd spend the first 50 turns in the ancient era, and then you'd be done within another 50 turns. You get through three more eras in 50 turns or 60 turns, maybe.
Yeah, again, I don't recall, but I'm gonna go with your gut because you played it more than I did. I'm just gonna
At
go with that.
least the way I played it. I'm like Try. He says, he likes to Sim City, and I also like to Sim City. So um, yeah, I mean that pace was off, and I've looked at the humankind forums a little bit, and a lot of people seem to share that sentiment that like that pacing was off, and they either need to change the numbers on the stars, or maybe even maybe in the later eras they just make it so it takes more stars to advance to the next era. Who knows what they'll do, but I think they'll fix that because that's been a pretty constant complaint. Also, gold can really spiral out of control, or
Yes, it
money,
can. Yes, it can.
and then you can just buy out everything and nothing matters, and it's silly.
At a
So they
certain
need to
point,
address that as
I
well.
was just like making 500 gold a turn, and I was just like, okay, so why
500, probably making 5K. It's like, okay,
5K? Okay, I
yeah.
don't know what you were
Well,
building.
you didn't. I mean, you didn't play any of the gold civ,
Oh
the
no, I
money
didn't.
civs.
No, I took none of the gold accumulation zivs. So,
Yeah, like Carthage in Era 2 is stupid.
oh,
Like,
okay, they just go out of control.
I mean, not their money generation isn't necessarily super good because they actually don't have anything that gives them money other than the merchant trait that like makes trading cheaper. But their legacy trait, buying out literally everything, units, districts, and infrastructures, half cost.
Oh,
50% off.
Okay, yeah.
Discount, everything must go. Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Absurd.
that's gonna change. That's gonna change. Maybe change that to like 25% to start with and see how that goes. 50% seems a bit high. The legacy traits are all like I just feel like they're all good. Like really, I've
Well, most of them are good. Some of them are, yeah. The Joseon and the Edo Japanese in Era 4, that one is stupid as well. It's just
okay.
like, okay, +2 culture, or maybe it's 3 on all districts.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. That and you're
All right,
gonna have tons of districts at that point, frankly.
or influence, not culture, influence.
Influence. Yeah, you're just gonna have
Um,
tons of influence at that point with all the districts you've accumulated because you get tons. You just like at some point I was just like I didn't care anymore. I was just building districts all over the place and
yeah,
just like starting to go. I could start to tell like okay, you're gonna go out of control if you're able
yeah.
to just
No,
pop things off quickly.
the snowball gets real once you get into medieval and early modern, especially. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
if you're ahead,
we're
you're
going.
going off. Like you don't have anything stopping you. You're just going crazy. Like I was just going nuts. Just like
Oh man, I mean, it. From what I heard, it sounds like they were kind of just doing a first pass on religion in this build. Religion was just busted as well. It was just so
mhm.
dumb.
Yeah.
Like there was one tenant in tier 3, I think, that it made it so that all of your you would gain science equal to the number of followers of your religion on every single holy site.
Oh,
So if you
I
like
see.
built a bunch of holy sites and then took the wonders that also counted as holy sites,
Yeah.
and then took the tier 4 one that gave you 3 more holy sites, you're just getting like 3,000 science for your religion or something. Like,
Yeah.
okay, this is
Yeah.
like my last game. I think I was making like 8,000 science a turn at the end of the game or something. Okay,
You just spammed a bunch of holy
and
sites and wonders.
I didn't even play a science. I didn't even play a science culture either. I'm making
But you
8,000.
just okay. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
so
Okay.
dumb. This game can really snowball out of control, and I mean, as I've said, it's with this many options, it's going to be really hard for them to balance because there's just so many different combinations. But they just need to rein in the ones that are a little more ridiculous, and they need
Hmm.
to the ones that are weak, they need to power up as well. Like, and I. And I've seen this complaint as well. Early on, like in the first era, especially in ancient era, it feels like a detriment to take the militarist or the expansionist cultures, to be honest, because they just like it's hard to do anything with those
Right.
in the because they don't give you any increase in your and none of their bonuses don't add to your infrastructure at all and help you like build up your civilization. They're going to war, but it's hard to go to war because as we've talked about before, war takes pops to build units.
Yep.
And you need like decent production. You need influence to be able to expand, and none of those like militarist or expansionist cultures in the first era get any bonus to that. And you're just
Yeah.
like, I mean, some of their legacy traits are good. You know, +1 combat strength on every unit. That's actually pretty good. One combat strength is good, and one of them has +1 movement on every land unit. That's also good. But
Mhm.
they need something else to help build up your infrastructure because it's just so hard to go to war early in the game because you just don't have the resources to do it. And then you're just behind. And if you do go to war, as we talked about, and then you fail, I mean, you're just
You're done.
hosed.
Yeah, you're
You're
done.
done for.
You're done. You can't go any further. You kind of have to go all in, and then if you do and fail, that's it. Game's over. So, I yeah. I mean, I just definitely a snowbally game, but it's really fun. It is really fun.
Yeah.
It's very enjoyable, and they've got time to make adjustments. That's the good news. They got time to make adjustments. I'd be curious if they did another open dev.
I would think they would do one more. I don't
I'd
know
be
for sure, but
curious.
I would think they would do one more where
Maybe
we
in like
get
3 months or so. Two
yeah,
months, maybe 2 months.
maybe in July, maybe in like mid-July or end of July even, like pretty close to release.
Because release is what August
August 17th.
2017. Yeah, so definitely not August, but maybe July. Just like see if they can tweak anything else
Yeah.
out at the last second.
I would think they would want us to see like what a full game is like because we've still only played the first 4 eras in
Yeah,
any of the open devs. We kind of need to see the like a full game, and even like it would be cool if we got to see some of the more meta features too, like the avatar customization and
That would be
um,
nice.
the stuff
I
you're
would
gonna be
like
able
that.
to do with that because
I would like that.
they've said that you're gonna be able to customize your avatar, both their appearance, but then also you're gonna have some traits you're gonna be able to give them. And I don't know if they affect your game, but they're at least going to affect how the AI plays your avatar, and then you can download your friends' AIs and like play against your
Oh,
friends
cool.
as an opposing leader, like based on what AI features they set
That's
for
kind of
their
cool.
avatar.
That's kind of
So
interesting. Interesting. Okay.
yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm,
that'd be
I'm
cool.
excited to see some of those. And yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for this game. I don't think it'll be fully balanced when it comes out because I think it's just so hard. But
Mhm.
I have no doubt it's gonna. I think the game is really good and really fun where it is right now. But I'm glad they're taking the extra time to polish a little more because yeah,
No, this game does need a little bit more, but it's on the right track. It's on the right track for sure. I would like to see an open dev with a full game to get more,
yep.
just to see more cultures at the end game, just to see more. But um, I do think it's on the right track with a couple of
And
touch ups.
they have been unveiling the cultures for the last era the past weeks. We have 4 of them confirmed so far. We have the Americans, Australians, the Brazilians, and the Chinese. So for the last era,
Okay, interesting. I wonder
yeah,
what that was.
Americans are an expansionist.
Yep,
Australians are a builder. Brazilians are an agrarian food,
agriculture.
and
Yep.
the Chinese are a merchant. That which makes sense.
Yeah. Wonder what other ones would be relevant. Well, so they don't have militaristic
They
in
don't have
the.
any that are militarists
Yeah.
yet.
I wonder what that would be. That would be an interesting one. Um, because to be honest, you could have put America as the militarist in a
Yeah,
certain
I mean,
in a certain way. You could
I
have.
think I probably would have put America as either a militarist or a merchant
Yeah.
myself, but I think expansionist makes sense too.
Expansionist does make sense. That does make sense. Um, but yeah, it'll be. I do think that they need to hopefully get a full game open dev,
Yep.
and
I think we will get that maybe probably in June or July. End of June or maybe in July.
okay, yeah,
I think we'll get that. That again, that's only a guess. That's speculation, but I think they'll do it.
okay, yeah. Again, I don't have much else with humankind. I do think they're on the right track. They're onto something. That's for sure.
Yep. I really like it.
Yep. Okay. Uh, any other stuff before we had? You got dinner, so I'm trying to figure out are you like needing to get out of here, or are you okay?
If you have other stuff you want to talk about, I'm okay. I'm okay to stay.
I was just gonna say, if I won't take up too much time if you're sort of like thinking on dinner stuff. So my only other additional thoughts, because I'm sure Tricourage in particular would love for me to say this stuff. So in a couple weeks, Destiny 2 is going to have Vault of Glass, and it's actually a Destiny 1 raid is coming back. So they're doing a Destiny 1 raid in Destiny 2 here. And that will be May 22nd. I think it was a weekend. 22nd. And I agree, to be honest, Torosh. I agree, Kuru. Like, it's pretty Resident Sleeper, but some people like the game. I don't understand. So May 22nd, we're bringing the crew back together. They were kind of scared that I wouldn't join them, and I said, no, you have to pay me more. I'm going to need a new contract with benefits, and so they said, okay, we'll agree to that. So I'm coming back. I'm making a comeback into Destiny 2. They were pretty desperate for my help, and maybe I'll stream that. I don't know. Last time I don't think I did stream it, but I wasn't sure. But we would pay for a week. Why would we pay for? You know what? That's unfortunate that you think that, because I could have sworn like I got some messages from Vis and he was like crying asking for my help. So he can talk about that. But So that raid's coming up 22nd. Should be cool. I don't know what the like Vis was talking about. There was like 2 different things we have to do because it's just like a Destiny 1 raid coming back here. So we'll see if we can do, because last time we did the day 1 challenge, but I'm not sure what exactly this one's going to entail. So normal and challenge mode. Thank you. So normal and challenge mode. I imagine there's like a 24-hour limit on that one to get the banner or whatever. So that's cool. That's happening. I did say the Mass Effect Legendary Edition's coming out May 14th, so that's exciting, and hopefully we can I can take some time and enjoy that.
And Otto will finish Xenoblade.
And someday I'll finish Xenoblade.
In the next 3 years.
In the next 3 years, I'll finish Xenoblade, and it'll be an amazing conclusion to that story. I hope. So that'll be an interesting juggling act to figure all that out. Yeah, someday. And when that day comes, it'll be glorious, and I'll finally be able to return Spoon his video game. That's all. I think my final updates. Just want to talk about Destiny for a quick second, and yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun with Mass Effect this month. There is a special place in my heart for that game. I have a lot of Mass Effect memorabilia. So this is something I'm really excited about, and I do hope it's fun with no bugs. I hope they didn't introduce bugs by making actual development work with Mass Effect 1. That would make me very upset. So
remember when you had that stream, like, I don't know, a month ago, 3 weeks ago, and you said you wanted to play all these JRPGs?
Things change. Things change. Mass
I'm gonna
Effect
finish Xenoblade, then I'm gonna play FF7R.
Mass Effect Legendary Edition is coming out,
and I'm gonna play.
Mass Effect Legendary. It is a JRPG.
It's not.
It's JRPG. Yeah, it is.
It's a Western RPG.
It's a JRPG. It's definitely a JRPG. So I get to slide it in to the schedule as a result. I think it's fair. I'm thinking it's fair. I'll do some deliberations about it, but I'm thinking it is in fact going to qualify as under the JRPG schedule. I think it's going to qualify. And for if you don't like that, that's too bad. You're just not a real JRPG fan if you just don't like that. So
I'm gonna ban you now.
you just don't like it, I guess.
We better end the stream before this gets ugly.
Yeah, we better end this before I actually just like get murdered across, like somehow murder occurs.
Here, I'm gonna call Kate real quick and tell her to.
No, don't. No, don't. Please. We gotta get ready for tomorrow. We gotta travel. I guess like concluding remarks for the podcast channel and maybe for us personally a little bit too, if you want to mention anything else. Again, we'll figure out the anime World Ends With You this weekend on Sunday. We'll figure it out. It's Mother's Day, so if I'm being honest, prioritize your families and spending time with them. But if you got some time, we can figure something out. D&D, my finely crafted campaign will be hopefully starting. I mentioned in about 2 weeks. I'm going to try and get it ready in 2 weeks. So this week of the 17th. We're going to try and get this going. And we got a lot of great folks joining. So I'll talk to them about streaming it. If we don't stream it, it is what it is. But I'll have to ask everybody and make sure that everybody's good with it. But if somebody doesn't want to, then I'm not going to do it. That's just me being honest. I don't want to do that. That's not fair to that person. And then lastly, StarCraft 2 stream again next Tuesday with Hectic and Tricourage. If anybody's interested in those, they're fun. We can watch me carry them. And yeah, that's it. I'm traveling to Lake Tahoe tomorrow. I'm gonna try and have fun and relax. And I did mention on stream, when I get back, I'm playing Xenoblade. First thing I'm doing is I'm playing Xenoblade, and I'll play for about 20 minutes, and then call it a day. I am in California. That's correct. I'm in Northern California. Northern California, man. Spoon's in Southern California, and by the way, I want to visit you sometime, Spoon. I talked about it with Kate. We're gonna visit him sometime. We're gonna visit
Okay,
Spoon.
well, I go back to Grenada in early August, so you better make it in the next couple months.
This is new information that I need to consider with Kate because we wanted to go to LA to visit. So, anyway, that's all I have. I hope you guys can stop by the future streams, podcast streams, when when Berseria comes back after Spoon's done studying.
Yeah. Possible stream Friday, not sure. Definitely no stream next week until after my exam on Thursday. So.
And I hope you guys can stop by the StarCraft stream or my Xenoblade stream. It's always nice for people to come by and
go subscribe to the YouTube and like our
yeah,
videos.
please do. We appreciate that stuff. Feel free to add some comments and stuff. And the yeah, I mean that's all I got really. So this was fun. I enjoyed today. Today was great. We had a lot of fun. We had some laughs. Some things were said that can't be unsaid, and that's we have to deal with it. We have to live with these things. So
it will be immortalized in a clip by Tricourage.
And Tri clipped it. Yep. So there you go. I'm that's it for me. I'm okay. I can't read that. Not reading that one. Not reading that one.
On that note. Have a good night, everybody.
Yep. See y'all later. Oh, and that's Stella barking.